Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rant lost!
But every night I make a new best friend, and the only problem is we like having a good time. Forget yourself now.
If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Listen between two beers.
Getting down.
Hello, love wrestling. It is Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. And for the 170th time, Pluggo.
It's the beginning of the NFL football season.
It is. It is. Football is.
Wait.
Yes. It is.
Oh.
It is.
Well, it's between two beards.
You're wearing a basketball hat.
And a baseball shirt. Do I have any football gear on? Oh my! I'm wearing Detroit Tigers shorts.
How did you not know the assignment? It is opening night of the NFL. The game will be starting here in the next 20 minutes or so. But you'll be here watching us and our fine guest this evening talk a bunch of wrestling. We got
so much stuff. I titled this "The Fallout from Bash at Berlin and No Mercy." It should have been enough. And then you have All Out this week, and that also should have been enough.
Yep.
But no, instead, I spent the entire day as a fire investigator trying to figure out if that's arson or if it's Listen, the dude burned a man's house down. Hangman Page burnt a man's house down. And we're all like, good for you, Hangman. Way to go. That's arson. That is a felony. I looked it up. You go to jail. You go to prison for that. Prison. And everybody's like, Swerve's a bad guy because of what he did to Daniel. So the dude is only trying to reunite his kids with their father. And Danielson's like, no, I'm going to keep making these towns. And then he gets his house burnt down.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to arrest Hangman Page. I'm going to be that guy that says arrest that man. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like you're forgetting the point when Swerve broke and entered Hangman's house.
Does that mean we don't just do the right thing and call the cops? No, we go burn a man's house down? Is that where we're at?
Well, I mean, Hangman
we're gonna ask our guest about this.
Oh yeah.
But
Hangman is clearly psychologically damaged. We're gonna talk about it.
Look,
I got a lot of things to talk about.
Dom's been to prison. He did his time, did his crimes. Hangman fears Dom because he fears prison.
I don't think Hangman would fear Dom.
Listen, that was nuts. That's where we're at, though. Arson. That's where we're at. Arson.
Listen,
What's the next level up from arson? In the chat, let us know which crime. Murder. Yeah, is that the next level? Is it arson then murder? Or is it like arson then maybe like manslaughter?
I don't know.
I don't watch a lot of Law and Order. Why don't we do this?
I don't care about the justice system.
Why don't we do this? Since I don't know the justice system either, our guest is much smarter than I am. Why don't you introduce him, bring him in? We'll get him in the conversation.
Yeah. So,
because I got to know.
I have had the luxury of meeting this fella. He's been on this show before, but I met this fella in 2021 at SummerSlam in Las Vegas. I met him. And then we had him on the show, and he is local to the New England area, so sometimes I see him at shows. You met him. We met him as a collective the first time in Cleveland at SummerSlam, and then I saw him at Raw in Providence, and I was like, dude, we got to get you back on the show. WWE had a big week. Brought on Graham Matthews, GSM Wrestle Rant on the Twitter and social machines. Our buddy Graham Matthews joining us again. What is going on, my friend? How are you?
Guys, doing great. Thanks so much for having me on. A long time coming. JPJ, we've been talking about this for a while. Like I saw you, I know you mentioned Raw last week. I saw you then. I've been bothering you since then, but I've been really bothering you realistically. First of all, since the last time we spoke collectively online 2 years ago. But when I saw you at SmackDown last December, I'm like, I got to come back on the show, and I'm just fucking, I'm terrible at this stuff. I apologize. So
no, you're good.
But Pluggo, it was great seeing you in person, meeting you in person. Back at SummerSlam, you guys do great work, and I'm happy to be back between two beers here on the show today.
Yeah, I got to officially meet you in Cleveland, and it was like we exchanged like, let's do something, and he's like, Ram's available this week. I said, done. Real quick before we dive too deep into it, I wonder, is anybody that's Steen about? That's not Mrs. Pluggo, but that's Mrs. Pluggo adjacent. Does she have like fake accounts, or is somebody impersonating her? Steen about her, say something that. Is that her burner? I don't know.
Is that what's going on there?
If that's Mrs. Pluggo, shout out to Mrs. Pluggo.
And then we got Spencer. Well, he said a bunch of hellos, but he did say this though. He said, however, both JPJ and GSM did not ride the roller coaster. That is true.
We were at the arcade or whatever it was.
We were in the arcade. So it was Spencer, myself, Riccacino, and Graham. And Spencer and Rick were like, we're riding this roller coaster. And me and Graham were like, we're gonna play the arcade game.
Yeah,
so
no
we're
way.
Gonna. No, I'm not anti roller coaster, but in that moment, I was like, not for me right now.
Yeah, I'm anti roller coaster.
You didn't want to leave Graham by himself. That's no.
Yeah, I'm like, A, there's four of us. I'm not leaving this guy by himself. And B,
we also first say, what's up, Hassan? What's up, Ophelia? The chat is going. Get your comments.
It is. And then Spencer says, it's true. Spencer says GSM is shoot one of my favorite people in wrestling media. Great human. Always goes out of his way to say hi and give a big hug. Huge fan.
You gave them hugs? I didn't get a hug, Graham.
That is true. Plus, I got to give you a hug next time. I'm terrible with hugs. I apologize.
It's fine. That's fair. That's fair.
Spencer's one of the best huggers I've ever seen.
He's Canadian, though. That's part of their thing.
Yeah. It was great seeing him at Mania and wherever Philly this year. I was going to say,
Philly.
If you're not a great hugger, are you even Canadian?
That's what I was going to say. Like they have a reputation of being the friendliest people.
Real quick, we'll get it out of the way. While Spencer has given us permission to announce the next match at LPW 30 and flirty, feeling 30, flirty, and thriving. It's a tongue twister. We talked about it in the Slack chat. So we need 30 likes on the stream. Mrs. Pluggo's bringing me a Christmas tree of thanks, Sonny.
That's service right there.
That is service.
Oh, that's good too. I don't know what that is, but it's like fruit punch.
Fruit punch.
Something like that's delicious. But yeah, so 30 likes on the stream. So tell your friends, share it out, retweet it all on the socials. I saw the match. It's a banger.
All right. I have not seen the match.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Which if we get to 30, I'll have to download it into the stream. I didn't yet.
Yeah, probably.
I just found out about
good to go, just in case we hit.
I got it.
Probably should be good to go.
Spencer might have to come in and save the day. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. Enough about my ramblings.
No, it's good. It's good. We do have a lot to talk about. Like you said at the top, Pluggo, back-to-back PLEs this past weekend from WWE, Bash in Berlin, NXT No Mercy. We had an eventful episode of Monday Night Raw the night after NXT. I thought NXT, obviously, we saw the television debut of someone who debuted at No Mercy and things like that. And then, like you mentioned at the top again, last night's Dynamite.
Felonies.
And I mean, I thought the whole show was pretty good, but the ending segment was fire, bro.
Literally.
It was fire.
God.
And we'll talk about that.
I can't imagine. How much that cost.
I mean, it had to be some sort of it had to be some sort of effect. There's no way they burnt a real house down.
I don't know.
Tony Khan's crazy enough to do it. He goes,
He's got a lot of money. He can do some shit. He can do some shit. I would assume it had to be because when you watch it, right? Hangman lights it. Yeah. And when those flames, they're not too far away from him when they start. No. He's just casually like, let me sip my drink. I'm like, bro, that's close, bro.
Didn't even, I would have been like, oh, get me out of here.
Yeah. The house exploded. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I just want to know who pitched that idea. And they were like, I bet.
Yeah.
100%. Do it. Dude, because like we said, what's next?
even if that wasn't the plan, all of social media made it the plan about an hour after that first video of Swerve.
Yeah.
We were talking about it a little bit before we came on, and like I said so I watched it later on in the morning, a couple hours after the Swerve part of it was released. And in my brain, I didn't immediately go to fire, burn it down, but I was like, Hangman's doing something to that house. I was like, Hangman is doing something. And Graham was like, that's such a good wrestling mentality. He was like, I just watched it and I was like, oh, this is so nice. Look at
yeah, seriously, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, what a great show. Yeah.
They were like, oh, we're gonna make Swerve a baby face again because Hangman's clearly more heel. And then I was like, no, they're just burning his childhood house down.
But then you heard the chatter on social media, but Twitter all day of people saying like, oh, and it became like it almost came like a running joke of the afternoon was everyone was like, oh, Hangman's burning that house down. He's burning that house down. And then it was like, as I got closer to Dynamite, I was like, oh, he might burn that house down.
Yeah.
And then they did a segment at the show and he doesn't come out and it's like, oh, he's burning the house down.
Yeah.
It's not like Swerve stole his baby when he broke into that house.
I mean, he thought about it.
He thought about it.
He put a curse on that baby. He put a curse on that baby.
It's like
he put a curse on that baby.
Like he didn't steal the baby. He just broke in and left a kid. Stop. He left a souvenir for Hangman's newborn child, babyface. You're not going to convince me that Swerve has not been a babyface this entire time.
Puts the baby in babyface. Yeah,
I am going to convince you. I did see this, Spencer. She's been performing with them for a little while now, but they had a live concert not too long ago and ended about an hour ago at 7. Linkin Park did announce a new vocalist. They announced a new album. They're going on a couple. It's I don't know her name. It's a female.
Yeah.
Is it Amy
she sounds.
Lee?
They did like
her name, or is it somebody off the top?
It's somebody different. They did like an hour performance on YouTube live. I watched it from 6 to 7, and she is great. Nobody's ever going to be Chester. All right. Like nobody's ever going to be that guy, but she fits them very, very well. She was hitting all the screams, all the vocals. It was good. Their music, even with Chester, the later stuff was kind of out of my vibe. It got a little bit too, I like the heavier stuff. Emily Armstrong of the band Dead Sarah.
I wonder what Linkin Park superfan world champion Gunther thinks about this move.
I know.
We'll ask him on social.
If you go on our Love Wrestling, we do have an interview with Gunther from SummerSlam weekend. And we asked him what his pump-up music was, and he said lately he had been listening to Hybrid Theory from Linkin Park.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I said, that's probably pound for pound. I grew up in the new metal era. I'm a pop punk screamo sad boy, but I first started getting into heavy music with Korn, kind of with my age when I was there. I would make a strong argument that Hybrid Theory might be the greatest new metal album ever made.
Wow.
It's from top to bottom, no skips.
Mm-hmm.
It's a generational thing. That first album, they just blew up. Like they were like a top band in the scene immediately. But I would think,
Speaking of which,
one of their songs says is entrance music. If they license music, that would be pretty cool. I don't know if it would fit him at all, but that would be sick though.
Yeah.
Did you find Gunther as intimidating as I did, Graham, when you were there?
I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to him that day. I talked to him like another event for something. But he's so intimidating. All three of them, because when I talked to him the first time, and I think the only time in person, it was all three of the Imperium guys.
Oh wow!
Gunther was cool. I think the most intimidating, unsurprisingly, was Ludwig. Like I thought he wanted to kill me, and I just said like hi.
Gunther was like super nice. I just was
really chill, though.
I was like,
he was super nice. But he has that look, and even though he's being friendly and he's kind of like, he nodded the head, he had like a little half smile, but it's like,
and they're like short answers too.
Yeah, very like not in a bad way, but like short, just kind of concise answers. And it's like he was the only one of the whole time that I was like, I don't know if he enjoyed that.
Yeah, I feel like he hates me. Like
I was like, I feel like he wanted to chop me.
Generally wanting to chop me.
He wanted to chop me.
But
I don't know
WWE Legal said. WWE Legal said that doesn't work for us, brother. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But over on AEW, they're committing arson. Can't chop a fan.
It's true.
It was legit. But speaking of Gunther, this past Saturday, Bash in Berlin, his home territory. born in Austria, but really started wrestling in Germany and stuff like that. We had the whole pay-per-view, 5 matches to discuss. Oh, we got Asian Joe saying, I always feel like Gunther is taller than he is. It's just how he carries himself. It's fair.
Yeah, it looked like I was pretty.
Yeah, I saw people in the comments were like, how tall is Pluggo?
Super tall. Too.
And I'm like, he's taller than, I mean, I'm short as hell. I'm like, everybody's taller than me. I'm like, but he's taller than me. But like, yeah, you were kind of like close to Gunther's size. So
I still felt like a child next to him. I was like, sir.
It's the presence, yeah.
I was like, sir, do you want to like answer this? Please don't yell. He's just like, yeah, totally. And then he moved on. But he beat that Randy Orton ass on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We're going to talk about that. So on Saturday, Bash in Berlin. Sorry. The show opened up with the WWE Championship match between friends. Cody Rhodes defended his WWE Championship by defeating Kevin Owens. Multiple teases throughout the match of, on Friday before SmackDown, they referenced Cody maybe having a banged up knee, and they kind of leaned into that a little bit. And KO was kind of like, Cody said, I'm good to go. I'm 100%. We get into the match, and, there's spots where Cody's knee, he's favoring it and all that. And Owens has multiple opportunities to kind of turn back into that prize fighter, anything it takes character to win, if we're being honest. And he just didn't. You could see the turmoil in himself, but he played it straight and narrow, and he ends up losing to Cody and a couple crossroads. I think there was the normal 3 that it took. That seems to be the number it takes nowadays.
Yeah. That's so weird to me, but I was thinking about that in that match specifically for some reason. I was like, 3 he gave him 4 ultimately.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he gave him an extra.
True.
It's like, how effective is the crossroads really if it takes 4 to beat everybody? 3 at least.
Yeah, it's silly.
What's the purpose?
I understand it if you pop like when he beat Roman at Mania.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Roman was the champion for 1,300 days. Like,
but you're
it's
Roman.
Everybody. Yeah, but then it's like, okay, well, the next month you had to do it for AJ. And again, this is
Carmelo Hayes. I think he did it for.
Yeah, like it's like, okay, it shouldn't be an every match thing now.
Yeah,
save it for the next when you actually fight Gunther down the line. It should take 3 to beat Gunther.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree.
It doesn't need to be like that for everybody you're fighting. But I thought all in all, this was, I expected it to be a really good match between these two. These two are both great.
The crowd was digging it.
The crowd was digging it all night, man. The German crowd did show up. As we are seeing, I almost feel like a lot of these international shows are pretty predictable. The outcomes and stuff. But you're going to get solid matches, and WWE really relies on the crowd bringing that extra element to the show that you're watching, because they are just like, these European crowds are going to chant, and they're going to be essentially another character in this show we're putting on. So we don't, you never really see these huge dramatic moments or like these big title changes or anything like that on these shows, but the crowd just brings that other element that kind of fills the void of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what makes it like interesting coming into Bad Blood. I mean, that's the next pay-per-view that WWE has coming up. That's in Atlanta. That's like the first non-international show. I know SummerSlam, obviously, we were all there. That was in where even was that? I don't even remember.
See, I'm not the only one. I'm
Cleveland.
Not every week for the 4 weeks he's been
Pluggo
like, how do you
every
keep
week? I'm like, it was in
remembering?
Cleveland, Pluggo. It was in
Cleveland, I go, that place we went for SummerSlam?
Yeah.
It's like, see, who vacations in Cleveland? Nobody.
Listen, I actually liked it. It exceeded my expectations. I liked the city, and it was a good show.
Agree.
It was a great show, and the crowd was good. It was a stadium show. But if you take that out of the equation, and Philly, which was obviously, that was Mania and Rumble, I think Fastlane or Survivor Series that's another big show though. Yeah. I think maybe Fastlane or whatever pay-per-views they were doing around this time a year ago, Payback, were like the last B pay-per-views that were in the States. I think everything else has been like either Canada or Glasgow.
I was at Fastlane. That was in September.
That
was Chicago for Survivor Series, and then it's been
in the the non-A shows have been international.
Exactly. So all of those have been built on the crowds, like you guys were saying. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bad Blood is like. I think it should be a good show, especially if you have a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, it kind of sells itself.
Yeah.
But when it's not really about the crowds, I agree.
And it seems like, they're bringing Bad Blood back for the first time in however long. I do love Triple H, how he's like, we're bringing back all these shows that I wrestled on.
These names were dope.
Bringing them all back.
Let's go.
Bringing them all back.
No more of this roadblock bullshit.
Yeah, seriously.
Great Balls of Fire, bro. How about we bring back, Bad Blood, all right?
Yeah.
But it seems like we still have a couple weeks to get to where we're going with Bad Blood, but no pun intended, it seems like they're building Bad Blood as a show where all these major feuds are going to have their big blow-off end of these blood feuds. You're looking at Liv and Rhea again. You're looking at Punk and Drew. That's the rumored Hell in a Cell match again. You're these big things they're building towards. I think Pete Dunne and Sheamus could end up on that show.
They could.
Yeah. If Bronson Reed is hopefully healthy, him and Braun Strowman maybe could end up on that. There's all these things that they're doing, these long form feuds that Bad Blood seems like they're coming back to be this show in the middle of the fall where we can blow up these feuds and get ready for.
I hope so.
Speaking of long-running feuds, hi Scott, how are you? Says good evening, gentlemen. Scott's an anti-Thunder Rosa person.
That's fair. That's fair.
But we let it slide here because we like Scott, but we love Thunder. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed all these international shows. It's fun to see the international crowd top the next one. You know what I mean? Like that's been my favorite. Like, all right, Germany, you got to bring it. It's up to you, and they did. And it started off strong, and they didn't quiet down for the rest of the night. Cody and KO was dope.
Yep. And everybody was thinking at the end of the show. I mean, at the end of this match, is KO going to turn? Yeah. They've been leaning into it with Grayson Waller showing that video and stuff like that. But at the end of the match, KO gives Cody the hug, and he actually helps him walk to the back. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow night on SmackDown because I would think there is still potential that KO could. I'm hoping he doesn't. I would like to see him just kind of stay as a friend of Cody because I do think there's a certain fella that's coming back to SmackDown that we'll talk about in a few matches here.
Sheamus?
I think no, not Sheamus. I shouldn't have used fella, but you know what I mean. There's a certain individual that is heading back to SmackDown that has a very rich history with Cody that I think if anybody needs to turn on Cody, it might be that guy. It might be that guy. But yeah, the crowd was hot. The opening stare down of Cody and KO as well. Like the crowd was chanting "Welcome to Berlin." They were chanting a bunch of stuff in German. Like the crowd was just, they were ready. They were ready. It was really, really good. And I thought it was a solid opener. You get a title match right out the jump. You get this, like, it sets the tone. Cody's not ending the show, which we knew he wasn't because of Gunther. It was a perfect opener. I thought it was a really, really good match. I thought it ruled.
It was great. I think Cody deserves. I mean, Kevin Owens is great too. We haven't seen him in a world title match since like the Roman Reigns matches, and beyond that, I couldn't even tell you. Maybe 2-3 years ago, I know he was doing stuff with Big E late 2021, but it's been a bit. I think Cody though throughout this run, the solo match I actually didn't mind. We were all there watching it literally together.
Yeah,
and it was a great match.
Yeah.
But you know that was a very good match. I think it paled in comparison to the other ones. But the AJ Styles matches were great.
Terrific.
Even the Logan Paul match was really good. Yep. And some of the matches he's had on SmackDown. This one was another great one. The Roman match was obviously amazing at Mania. I think he deserves credit for having so far a strong run as WWE champion and not just feeling like a filler champion that phones it in with some of these performances. Every single match so far, even the solo one, I would go out there so far as to say good to great so far since Mania, which is good to say.
Yeah. Wrestler of the year. We're in September.
Yeah. I think he's in that conversation.
I mean, he's got to be in the discussion. Won the Rumble
again. Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, won the Rumble again to start the year, back-to-back winner. Finally is the one to dethrone Roman at Mania. He's had, like Graham said, strong matches. I think I'm ready, and I know they're even teasing that they're going back to maybe solo again tomorrow with Cody. Yeah. I would like to see him get away from the bloodline.
Please.
Please. The stuff that he's done away from, like you mentioned, the 2 matches with AJ Styles, no pun intended, but kind of phenomenal. Excellent matches. The match with Logan Paul was very good. Whatever you think of Logan, it was a very good match. The match with KO was great. And again, I like the solo match too. I liked it more than a lot of people. But I think it's time for Cody. He's been fighting the bloodline for 2.5 years.
Seriously.
Like, it's time to give him a story that has some juice to it, that is not involving the old bloodline, the new bloodline. We know we're probably getting the Roman Cody match again somewhere down the line. That's fine. Save it for when you're going to use it. Because right now it doesn't need to happen right now. Roman has other priorities,
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of ready for Cody to do something else, non-bloodline.
And yes, Dustin, I think Hell in a Cell was traditionally in this spot.
Yes, which is why I think it would make sense if the rumor is true that they're aiming to have at least one Hell in a Cell match on this show with potentially Punk and Drew getting there, because
Scott's saying that Thunder Rosa's done with Deanna. Yeah. I got some thoughts on that, but anyway, go on.
I think getting rid of the Hell in a Cell name too, obviously, I mean, no shit, but it's such a great move too, because it also means that you don't have to have 2 Hell in a Cell matches on the same show. They could still give a stip match to Rhea and Liv. It doesn't have to be inside Hell in a Cell. I don't know what it would be exactly. It could be Last Woman Standing. I don't think they'll ever do a First Blood match again, but something like that would be cool. Male, female, whatever. I don't think we ever get that again. On a Bad Blood show, it would make sense. But yeah, it doesn't, because it's not Hell in a Cell, you're not forced to do, we're going to have 3 Hell in a Cell matches. I don't know if you were there, JPJ, but I think Hell in a Cell 2016, Boston, 3 cell matches on that show.
It was brutal.
And not even a great show.
And they weren't in great feuds either.
No. The only cell match that should have happened that night was Charlotte and Sasha Banks. That was the only cell match that should have happened. It was the main event.
Yeah.
That was the only one that would have happened, because it would have made that, hey, this is the first ever Hell in a Cell between 2 women wrestlers. It would have made that mean so much more if we weren't year after year at that point getting these pay-per-views that were having 2. Like, another thing that I like about this is, it is October, which used to be the Hell in a Cell slot. We might still get a Hell in a Cell match at the October pay-per-view. Fine. But not having it be a Hell in a Cell, that allows you, that match can float now. If you have a huge feud at WrestleMania, guess what? You can now have a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania if you want. Like, it doesn't have to just be at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Right. And that will make the match mean more in general, because when we first started watching wrestling before it became a pay-per-view, if you were having a Hell in a Cell match, it meant the shit was on. Like, that was like, oh boy, like, this is like the biggest feud, the biggest blood feud. Hell in a Cell is like the end-all of end-all matches for a feud. But when you have to have 2 or 3 every year on one show, it loses the luster of that.
That also makes me wonder how many
match too,
how many great feuds we lost out on because you had to wait to get there.
Yeah,
because you couldn't just drop it in the middle of the year.
And truly, like, if you think about it, right? How many? We had so many Hell in a Cell matches at these Hell in a Cell pay-per-views
for like a 15-year period.
For like a 10 to 15-year period. How many of them do you truly remember?
There were some good ones, but most
of course.
Like to your point, the 2016 Hell in a Cell show, Roman and Rusev. What the fuck was that, man? I mean, come on.
Come on.
That need to be in there. Come on.
No.
Ryback, and who else?
Punk. Punk inside the cell.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like when you talk about Hell in a Cell matches, what are the ones that everybody always still mention? Mick Foley and The Undertaker, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, Undertaker and Triple H with Michaels as the ref. That was at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about a lot of the Hell in a Cell matches that happened at these pay-per-views. Nobody.
None.
Because there was nothing special to them because we knew, So I think not only does it help to get a fresh event, but it helps that match, because that match is a special match in the history of things, and it will make it more special again if we know, like, oh, here comes that time again when we're doing this. It kind of pop it up whenever out of nowhere,
Trivial note, I'd have to go back and check the math, but I think I looked at this a while ago. This might be the longest that we've ever gone since the match was introduced 27 years ago. The longest that we've ever gone without having Hell in a Cell match. I mean, obviously, in the last 15 years, it's been every October. Yeah. But like the last one that we got with Edge and Balor was about a year and a half ago at Mania 39. I don't know if we've ever gone a year and a half without having a Hell in a Cell match. I'd have to look at the math there, but I know there was one year where we didn't have one, 01, but even then, the one in 2000 was at Armageddon. Then 02.
That was like the six. Yeah, that was the six.
Yeah, the six guys. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This might be the longest drought of Hell in a Cell matches, which, back to your point, it makes these matches feel more special.
100%.
Oh shit! 100%. Let's go, strap in. I'm excited. I'm excited for more Hell in a Cell matches, but in these better spots. Hell yeah.
All right, our second match of the evening was for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. It was the Unholy Union going up against Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, in which we saw Bianca and Jade get those titles back. They defeated the Unholy Union. You look at the card and you're like, okay, this is the match that'll probably be the kind of the filler or the least, had the least story. They threw it together, but I thought this was a good match. I thought the hot tag, Jade Cargill, I feel like gets better every time.
Yeah,
she's in a match. I think her hot tag is becoming a thing the crowd is like waiting for and ready for. She shows off her power. She's really good. I think them getting the titles back is the right move. I don't know who, looking at the landscape, who was even at the top of my mind that would take it off of them. But I thought for what it was, kind of that second match, shortest match on the card time-wise, like I thought for what it was a pretty good match. And I thought they did a good job in the weeks leading up to it to kind of make Unholy Union look more of like formidable, because they won the belts in Scotland out of nowhere. Yeah. It was very clear. It was just for the hometown pop, it felt like. And then they kind of did nothing for a little bit right after.
He would have been on the show for like a month. Yeah.
Yes. But I feel like in the 2 to 3 weeks leading up to this, they were having them have matches, defending the titles a few times. Like, I think they did a good job of making them seem formidable. So like this tag title, getting the belts back kind of meant something. And then we saw on Raw, obviously they had the number one contendership and they won it again. So we're running this back, which I have no problem with, to be honest with you. But I thought this was a pretty good match, Graham.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I thought they worked well together. I liked the renewed effort to kind of get over Fire and Dawn, who, like you said, I mean, they won the belts. They weren't even on the show for a month, and then they've been on the show more. I mean, it's more of a case of what the aftermath is. Will they be on the show more? I mean, they're getting the rematch next week. We know that, like you said. Beyond that, where do they go from there? Because they were on like main event before even winning the belt. So we'll see. I mean, it was a good match. I think Bianca and Jade getting the belts back made sense. To me, the issue here is, I got to say this, and I'm looking forward to Jade and Bianca. I wish Triple H would not wait a year to get there. It feels like at this point we're going to get that match at Mania, and that's like traditional, and that's fine. But it feels like we're just kind of treading water until then. Because like you mentioned, like what other team even is there to take the belts off of them? Maybe Damage Control. I think it probably might be like Nia Jax and Tiffany. They're not even a team. But like that they're the only two credible stars between both brands that have an alliance that could realistically beat them. And maybe that leads to Nia and Bianca or Jade, or I don't know. But I'm kind of ready for Jade and Bianca. I'm glad they have the belts back, but I'm ready for that next stage of their storyline, because it kind of feels like we've been in the same spot, belts or no belts, for the past like 2-3 months. And they do have a great hot tag. People are getting behind them, but I'm ready for that singles feud, and it doesn't feel like we're going to get it anytime soon.
Yeah. Pluggo, who do you think? Do you have anyone on the top of your mind that could be a form? I mean, I feel like
they're building up. They're building up that Pure Fusion Collective. They got a decent women's trios division.
Yeah,
I don't understand why you drop the belts at Clash. I don't care for hometown pop or what.
I agree. I fully agree.
Just to kill time and give them back to them. But I've said this a couple of times. Like, I want this to be, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna put it back on them. Make it mean something. Build this women's division up. Even with Jade and Bianca running through it, you could still present it as a very strong front. And then they finally lose it. It becomes a big deal. And then you do the feud. Because, like, you got the Unholy Union. They're in the mix. There's some NXT tag teams I'm probably not even thinking about right now. But they got to do something, because they keep stopping and starting with this damn thing.
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't mind, because, it is a floating title. So I
wouldn't. Go down to NXT.
Yeah. I wouldn't be against it. I would not be against it for a little small couple week run there. You can go against Lash Legend and her partner there. There's teams down there. They just made that, what is it, Fatal Influence?
Yeah.
You could do JC Jane.
Like
and,
I said, Trips has got a weird
Henley,
Yeah,
Trips
that would be a good
weird thing for the NXT or the women's trios division that doesn't exist, but can't build up a tag division to save his life. Which I'm not complaining. I think all of those teams actually are really talented, and I have a lot of fun watching them. But it's just like, okay, now make it make sense. You've got trios teams with tag team options. Throw them all at this powerhouse tag team and make this division smoke. And then when those two leave it, they left it better than they found it, because what we're seeing is these big teams leave it and then we forget about it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Graham knocked it out of the park. And I said something on Twitter when it happened. I was like, all right, it's not about now, it's about what you do with the unholy union now, because they were the champions. Okay, fine. Now they always can say that, hey, we're former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Yeah. Okay, but now if you're on the sideline again for 2 more months, or every time I see you on television, you're taking L's, you don't matter to me anymore. That's just how that works. I'm sorry, it's just how it works.
Yeah, no, seriously.
There is no reason for me to invest my thoughts about you.
This just in, JP hates the unholy union.
Not true. I actually like them.
I do.
We haven't even seen the Blair
shoots hard.
We haven't even seen the Blair Davenport part with it that much either. Because
no, listen, this clip is going to do really well in 2 months when they've done nothing but lose on main event.
Hey, all right then.
Yeah,
well, I hope that's not the case. I hope it
doesn't
have to do really well. But like when we were in Cleveland on that SmackDown, Blair Davenport joined them, as Pluggo said, another trio, new stable they're putting together in the women's division on SmackDown. And then we really haven't seen
they cooled
them
it down.
do anything of substance since. Now, Unholy Union's been involved in this, but like as a unit, as a trio, we haven't seen a ton of, and again, it's really about, okay, so they might not have the belts for the next 2 or 3 months now because Jade and Bianca have them. So how are you going to make me care about them still? Besides the fact that they are former champions. Because guess what? In today's world, a lot of people are former champions.
Dude, they got to make it matter. And it's not even like I agree with both you guys. I don't hate these people, it doesn't matter who it is. It's just, I just don't care. There's a lot, like in Pure Fusion Collective, currently, I just don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I liked all 3 women involved, quality talent. I don't care. They're not fighting over
that name.
They're
is
not.
rough.
The name is brutal. I think the name hurts.
The name sounds.
The name hurts.
The name sounds to me like something one of your aunts, like Mary Kay, like come over. Let me show you my Pure Fusion collection, and we'll get you started today. And then they have like a Pure Fusion collection party. You remember though? Your moms ever do those, dude? Like, I
haven't heard it. It sounds like a Pokemon to me or something like that. I don't know.
Is it Mary Kay like makeup?
Yeah, like Mary Kay, or like what was that Tupperware one where you'd have like a Tupperware party where it was like a special one? No, it was like a special one though. Oh man,
that's a foreign concept to me.
Really?
No,
Avon or nothing like that.
I know of Avon. I don't know what parties and stuff surrounding it. That's new to me. No, I haven't heard of that.
Come check out our Pure Fusion collection.
Like
sign up today and we'll throw in a free wine opener.
Yeah, but the part of the reason why, and Graham's not alone in thinking like that. Part of the reason why we don't feel that way about Pure, I do think the name has something to do with it. I think that's everybody
because they lost
like
name. 2 weeks in.
And guess what? They created this group, and for the first 3 weeks after they created the group, they lost every match they were in. Baszler won on Monday. She beat Zelina Vega on Monday, and I was like, that's the first win. I think Zoe Stark won to get into the Money in the Bank, and they were they didn't have the name yet, but they were they made this name, they had this big presentation, and then the first 2 matches we saw with them, they lost.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, we dive on forward. Then, we were just kind of talking about these 2 in potential Hell in a Cell coming up at Bad Blood, but we had ourselves a strap match. The heated feud between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, this will never die.
Listen, going in, and we talked about it last week, and you were kind of shocked that I said so, but going into this,
I'm still shocked you said
I would say going into SummerSlam, this was, in my opinion, the hottest feud, in a lot of people's opinion. It was the hottest feud. It was the most anticipated match for a lot of people at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I liked the match at SummerSlam. And we'll get to it because on Monday I thought they did a real good job of really rocket firing this thing back up to A+ territory. I did not give one single shit about that bracelet at all.
Anti-bracelet.
Not anti.
JPJ is shooting hard tonight, Graham.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like, I understand sentimental value. I get it. That was a nothing bracelet that a fan made you. Cost her 50 cents. I understand the meaning behind the bracelet, but why are you guys actually fighting for the physical bracelet? I don't care about that.
I mean,
I understand that. Yeah,
Punk
it was what it represented.
He didn't like.
But I get that.
He didn't like a man wearing his wife's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think everybody with AJ Lee shirts, watch out. That's coming for you.
You know, I think the biggest issue with it was, I mean, I agree. I didn't mind it. It went on for a little long.
Yes.
They introduced the bracelet in June, and they finished the bracelet aspect of it on Monday, which was September 2nd or whatever. That's like 2.5 months for a fucking bracelet. Maybe that. I mean,
maybe that's
when it broke on Monday.
Oh
yeah, I didn't mind that part of it. I was one of the people that's like, this is fine, I get it. But it's like going into Bash, it's like, all right, it should probably be more than just about the bracelet. And they broke it on Monday. Big pop for heel McIntyre for that. So we can move on from that, you know?
Yeah, and I think you're probably more right. Like, I can remember myself not hating the bracelet at first.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, now that Punk's back, why has 80% of this become about the bracelet?
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't, like, whatever. But I thought the strap match, I feel like I'm more in the minority than other people.
Shit, CM Punk should burn his house.
I liked the strap match. I thought it was,
I liked
it
too.
It was good.
Better than the SummerSlam match too.
Yeah, I thought so. I know a lot of people were and look, at the strap match is one of those types of matches that it's not going to be for everybody. It's usually they had good spots in it, but it's usually a slower match. They're trying to hit the corners and getting stopped, and there's a lot of tugging. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on that it's like a slower match. But I thought, the table spot where Drew threw Punk out of the ring was a good spot. I actually thought it was a really clever spot when Drew had Punk on his shoulders and he was hitting the things and Punk was doing it behind his back and Drew didn't know. I thought that was clever. But all in all, I thought, and I really enjoyed the ending sequence where Punk was just like, I'm giving this MFer because of what he's done to me. He's getting a GTS for every corner I touch. I'm literally, I'm stopping and giving him a GTS every time before I hit a corner. So overall, I liked. Was it my favorite match on the show? No, but I thought it was better than, like you said, Graham. I thought it was better than their SummerSlam match.
I thought it was significantly better. And I like the SummerSlam match too. This just had more intensity behind it. Rollins was kind of a factor in and of himself. So getting him out of the equation kind of worked. The bracelet stuff went on for a little long, but they ended up having Punk put it back on, and then he hit him with the GTS like 4 or 5 times, whatever. A decisive win. They're continuing the feud. It's funny you say that, Pluggo, when we first started talking about it, like, oh, this shit's still going on. I've seen a lot of divided opinions on this, and I honestly totally get it. Like, I know some people that aren't really like diehard fans that are like, man, why is this still going on? As wrestling fans, we see it like from 3 months ago. We know this is going 3 matches. We know this is going to Hell in a Cell. But some people, they just look at shit on the surface. They're probably thinking, why are we still getting this feud that's been going on since January? I want them to move on.
Because they did it. They did it while they were both injured. They both didn't get cleared at the same time. Don't get me wrong. They
knocked that out of the park.
I am torn, of course, because it is a great feud. I do love me some CM Punk. I think he's fantastic. I enjoyed it all. I thought SummerSlam would have been, and then, okay, you want to do the strap match? All right, I'm with you there. But it's like Punk declared at Bash, I'm moving on to a tie. And I'm like, okay, we're moving on. And then I get it. He decided to move on. Drew, it's like, but there's only so much that these two can say to each other that they haven't already said. That's my only, like, let's tie this bow at Bad Blood and let's get him doing something else. Because how many times can Drew say Punk stole my opportunities, and how many times can Punk be like, gotcha?
That's what I'm curious about. They have a month. It's exactly 1 month from today, October 5th. What can they say in the next 4 weeks to maintain the excitement or get people's interest back in this feud to sell people on that match? The match sells itself, but how can they kill time until then? I have confidence that they can, because it's CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. But you're right, though, Pluggo. Like, they've said and done a lot of the same stuff as of late. They got to
hear that very often on this program.
No, I agree. I mean, I think that they definitely need to In Monday, to your point, JPJ, I think they did a good job of reheating it back up. Can they maintain that? Will AJ show up? Like, I think that would be a nice wrinkle. And Punk can't show up on Monday. That's the thing. Like, he gets stretchered out. He can't show up.
AJ showing up is the new CM Punk showing up.
No, but I think though, I think they can go. Listen, Punk, he ripped Drew rips the bracelet, puts it in Punk's mouth, gives him his third Claymore.
Yeah.
Punk is bleeding in the mouth. Then they show him in the back going to the ambulance, and Drew attacks him again. And they finally get Drew out of there. And when they put the camera back on CM Punk, it looked like he was dying.
Mm-hmm.
I love that the internet was like, "Why is his sock dirty? Dude's dead on a stretcher."
It looked like he was
dirty
dying
socks on. What a bum
on that stretcher. And Adam Pearce was like, "We got to get him out of here." Blah blah blah. CM Punk shouldn't be on TV for at least this month. It should be a couple of weeks. And I think that is how you get it. Because like you guys said, what more can they friggin' say to each other that they haven't since January?
Yeah.
Really, there is no more to say. But if AJ Lee shows up, if Drew McIntyre is there on Monday talking shit about CM Punk because he knows CM Punk's not there because he's at home resting, and then all of a sudden you hear, "Let's light it up," and AJ comes skipping out there, immediately everyone's like, "Oh shit!" And everyone, it's the big thing. You know what I mean? It's
they need that. I think
that needs to happen.
Chamber. Yeah.
Right in the dick.
I don't know if she'll, she would have to agree to do that.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
But that's the fucking move, man. That is the move. Because if Drew's out there, whether they both have this Monday off, you could say that Drew got suspended or isn't going to go, and Punk is healing. So maybe they both have this Monday off.
Mm-hmm.
That kills a week. Then you only have 3 weeks. Then the next week, Drew can be there and say, "Hey, Punk's still healing from the beating I gave him because I almost left him as and then you do AJ. And then Punk comes back the week after, and it's Hell in a Cell. And then you only got a week, and you beat the shit out of each other. You brawl, you separate, and then we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, "You ruined my moment. I was going to go for the world title, and you ruined it. Well, you ruined mine." And you just do something different. Do something different. Anyway.
If they don't want to talk, granted, they're both excellent promos.
Oh, yeah.
If they just wanted to fight for the next 4 weeks and not say a word, I'd be like, all right, I'm in.
That's fine too.
That's great too.
And kind of what Graham said, I have no faith. I mean, no, that's the wrong word.
You have no faith?
No. That was the wrong word. I have faith in these two individuals that they're going to make whatever they're given work. And they have.
Joke's on you. I can clip that mess up out and say you have no faith in either one of these individuals.
No, but we actually got Dustin in the chat. He goes, a follow up to Graham's comment. As of today, it's been 522 days since the last Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 39. It was 525 days between Armageddon 2000 and Judgment Day 2002. Look at the facts.
Where do you
Dustin
even
bringing
find a comment like a?
So that means that by the time we get to Bad Blood, if a Hell in a Cell match does happen, which is rumored to happen, that'll be the longest drought between Hell in a Cell matches ever since the match was existing.
Wow.
So
Thank you for doing the research, Dustin.
Where do you
get
that? Dustin is
awesome.
Dustin is
spitting out the facts, man. Dustin rules. Dustin rules. All right. The next match we had, I actually thought it was my favorite, and I thought it was the best match of the night. It was the mixed tag team match between Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest and Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. This match I thought was fun as hell. I thought this match was fun as hell.
Perfect way to sum it up. Yeah.
Yeah. All four of these just, I know Dom gets all that heat, man. But dude, Dom,
he's a baby.
He needs his flowers, man. That dude has. Think about it, because I think that we just kind of passed within the last couple of weeks his 4-year anniversary from his first match.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they showed the videos, and he was clean cut, baby face, looked like a literal child. To think about how far he's come in ring, yeah, but as a character and really leaning into what he's doing and stuff like that, man, dude, that guy, I was kind of rooting for him to win his triple threat match on Monday, because I was yeah, I'm ready for mid-card title, Dom. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
But obviously we saw what kind of happened. But I loved Plug, I'll start with you for this one. I loved this mixed tag match. I thought it was my favorite match of the night. I loved it. I thought from start to finish, just a fun time. Just a fun time.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Terror Twins fan. I like what they're doing. I like the vibe that they're giving backstage with those interviews and things like that. So, I mean, I personally, though, I had Liv and Dom winning just in a way to kind of keep some heat going here.
Mm-hmm. I thought the same thing, yeah.
That's where I was at. So if I was but I'm not complaining that Rhea and Damian got it done. You want to build the tag division. I think you let them go after some tag titles. Because I love it. I think it's great. Dom, babyface, 100%. He thinks there's veggies in ranch. He's trashed Logan Paul. He left one toxic relationship to go to another. We just need to find Dom a respectable lady. And I'm not disrespecting Rhea and Liv, but Rhea beat the shit out of him until he joined her, and now Liv, I think, is just stringing him along. But hey,
it's Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
No, for sure, right? You gotta shoot your shot, right? You gotta go for it. But I'm just saying, if we look at it from an optical, no, Dom's been killing it. I know, unironically, I said ironically, sometimes we joke about how amazing Dom is, but if you really break it down, like JPJ said, he's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Just he's hitting everything that they give him out of the park, and those boos, they used to be ironic, now we're unironically
they're earned.
They're earned. We talked about, I don't know if you went, Graham, when you were in Cleveland, we talked about it on the show before, when we went to Damian Priest live. Yeah. Every time he went to talk, everybody booed him out of respect for that's the gimmick, to the point where Priest was let him talk. Let him talk.
Yeah, he's going to put me over. Let him talk this time. Let him
dude's
talk
killing it. Dude's killing it.
But yeah, and I feel like you just nailed it perfectly. When everyone was booing Dom early on, that was go away heat. Dude, you're not good. You're not that good at this. We don't want you. Now he gets booed out of respect. Yeah, those are earned boos because we're he's good.
And then he said on the Impulsive podcast, because I listened to that one because I wanted to hear what he had to say about Logan, because that was funny. So I listened to it all. He said that he wrestled the second most matches in WWE, just behind Cody last year. So they believe in him too.
When CM Punk was doing his warm-up matches at Madison Square Garden, it was against Dom. Yep. They chose Dom for a reason.
Tread lightly, Graham. If you're an anti-Dom person, this might be a problem.
I am not. I mean, I'm the same. I'm in the same vein as someone who 2 years ago, almost exactly, I think to the day actually, when they had him join Judgment Day at Clash of the Castle, whatever it was 2 years ago. I'm thinking, what are we doing here? I mean, he's a terrible fit for the group. He's uninteresting as a babyface. I don't think he has it in him as a heel.
And it was unrealistic that Rhea would be interested in him.
It was stupid. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, come on. I know she's beating the shit out of him, but I mean, who wouldn't let her beat the shit out of you? I mean, I get it. It's Rhea Ripley anyway. But I wasn't a fan of the whole angle back then. And then gradually, slowly but surely, she ended up, or rather he ended up becoming such a natural heel and really coming into his own in the role. I think the Rey Mysterio feud helped wonderfully with that, having his father to work off of, becoming more comfortable as a character, the whole tendies thing taken off online, those skits with him going to his house and breaking in with fucking hilarious. And then everything else he's done in then, and not just the character stuff, like the stuff that he's done in the ring. He's had some pretty good matches since then. Yeah. All the Rey matches have been good, and he's a former NXT North American champion, working well in NXT over there in the last year or whatever, and now in the new Judgment Day, one of the better parts of that group, getting great heat as a token of our respect or appreciation, like you guys were saying. So big Dom fan. I think he's great, and I don't think it's a stretch to say in 2024 that he could be a future world champion. Not this year, but I'm saying as we sit here now in the future. I think he could work. I could see him as a future Mr. Money in the Bank for sure.
He gets the Nia Jax heat, where it's justifiably so. She's had some rough matches early in her career and things like that, but she's gotten better.
She's turned it around too.
I think people that just dump on Dom are just they just remember some of the not great matches he had early on. But people can grow, people can get better, guys. Yeah, that just says to me you're not watching the product.
Yeah, I think those people are in the minority now, to be honest with you. I don't see a lot of anti-Dom this guy sucks. Most people now recognize he's not like Gunther in the ring, but the guy from all aspects. I mean, especially in the WWE world where there's a lot of people that are great in the ring, but those fans don't give a shit about those people. He is, above all else, probably one of the biggest heels in the past 15 years in that company. Is difficult to get a reaction that he gets every single week. We couldn't even hear him at Raw last week. It was so loud.
No. And
So it wasn't piped in like haters.
Oh
say?
no, that was not. At least in Providence, it was not. You could not hear him.
That's awesome.
Every time he tried to talk. I do like the little wrinkle of him starting to yell at the crowd in Spanish. I think that's a nice little touch that he's added that, because every time he tries to talk, they boo him, but he starts yelling in Spanish and it just works. And then they're tying in like Rhea talking in Spanish a little bit too. I love the callback in this match when she gave him the leg submission in the corner, because that's how this whole thing started. Was with that. That's how she got him to be whatever. That's how the whole thing started. I thought that was a fantastic callback in this.
If you ask the internet, that's not long-term storytelling. That's just a move that she does. And I was like, no, I don't think you guys have paid attention.
Yeah. And when she hit that move, I feel like that was that was one of the louder moments of the night for the crowd. Like the crowd really lost it there. When she did that.
Rewarded for watching the product. Like that was not a thing back at one point. Like you actually watch the shows. We remember that, and it's not wasted that I was watching Raw 2 years ago, which is nice.
And to be honest, it was very back then. Even it was kind of like a shock value thing, because you don't see a lot of in WWE women versus men or physicality. Sometimes you see the woman spot with this, but she really was laying into him.
I mean, that's what everybody that's what everybody was waiting for the most. Everybody was, everybody wants to see Rhea get back at Liv and all that stuff, but everybody wanted to see Rhea beat the shit out of Dom. That's what everybody was there for.
Yeah.
There's
still more to come on that front, which is nice. They're saving that for down the road. There's more still that we could see from this feud. I think I have even more faith in these guys to keep the feud fresh until October or beyond that if they wanted to. But I think it culminates there too, with a lot like Punk and Drew.
I agree. We get Dustin saying, after seeing this match, I really want to see the return of the mixed match challenge. If you remember that, that was actually fun the first time they did it.
The old mixed match challenge.
Yeah,
so that's where I got the Alexa.
Yeah. Her and Braun actually with the.
Remember when I used to sit here early on and have a Braun doll and just go, Alexa? You'd be like, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. We are now to the main event of the evening, the main event of Bash in Berlin. It was the hometown hero, Gunther, defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Randy Orton. Before we even talk about the match, I thought the camera angle and the way that they shot Randy Orton's entrance was one of the cooler entrance. I thought it might have been the best Randy Orton entrance of all time, the way they shot that with him just walking out.
Incredible,
man. It was incredible, just following him down to the ring. It was just beautiful looking, cool looking. Orton's the perfect guy to do that type of thing.
Crowd singing the song in the background,
Absolutely. It was awesome. And then, you get the hero's welcome from Gunther. He has another great entrance, and I loved how just as Samantha was about to introduce him, we see Kaiser's arm and the crowd pops, and he got to do that in Germany. Very cool for those guys. I know they were in Germany like the whole week promoting it, but like I think it was Kaiser. I know you mentioned him earlier, Graham, but Kaiser released a tweet where it had like 4 separate photos of the two of them at like as children, like starting in wrestling in NXT UK, and then like recently with Gunther. And it was just like, that's a cool story. Those two guys are literally like, it's almost like KO and Sammy. But, it's like the same thing. They grew up in the business together. They're legitimately best friends for their whole lives. And now they're main eventing a show in their homeland, getting to be on screen to get that had to be. They must have been looking at themselves like that whole week, going like, "Do you believe this shit, man? Like, do you believe this shit? Unbelievable. It's a cool moment. It's a cool moment." And then again, this main event, I thought it was slower compared to their King of the Ring match, but this is my type of wrestling. Just
it was cool.
Big dudes beating the crap out of each other, man. That's
for sure. I mean, it didn't, went longer, got a lot of time.
Oh, it went like 35 minutes.
Yeah,
35 minutes they got.
It's a long match. I think the crowd, it definitely benefited too, because I would have liked the match regardless. I think all three of us would have liked the match regardless, but I think the crowd helped with people that aren't really into that type of wrestling. I think the WWE crowd was more invested, or people watching at home, because of how energetic that atmosphere was. And Wasn't a big fan of like the wave shit early on, but like I think it was out of respect. I don't think they were doing it because they were bored. And then Orton acknowledged it and went along with it, which is not what 09, 2010 Orton would have done. He would have been fucking pissed.
Yeah, dude, he's living his best life.
I think him acknowledging it though, probably he had the same mindset of you of like, hey, they're not doing this because when did you see the wave happen? When people were bored and they didn't give a shit and all that. I think he probably understood what you did and is like, no, I don't think they're doing this to be like a dickhead audience. They're doing this because they're having the fucking time of their lives right now.
Exactly.
And Orton was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm just doing it with them, you know?
And then they stopped after that. They didn't keep doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he went along with them. They moved on. And it was a great match, decisive finish. No real shock afterward. No unpredictability surrounding the outcome. I think it was pretty obvious Orton was losing. It didn't really need to be anything surprising about it. Just a good wrestling match. And I think the crowd was rewarded for their, not hometown guy. He's from Austria or whatever. But, it was a great main event with their guy going over, and Orton wasn't booed out of the building either. I think they kind of found that sweet spot. And it was a really fun match. Yeah.
And we got Dustin saying, I wonder if that finish at the King and Queen of the Ring hadn't happened. Would the match that we saw on, would that have been the main event?
At
all? I think so.
No, probably not. It's good for somebody else, I guess.
I was driving. I was listening to the pre-show. Those interview segments that they did were killer. Like, and Morton brought it up. He goes, if that ref doesn't miss the call and Trips doesn't uphold it, like we might not be here, but here we are. I'm going to make the most. It was a really cool shit. I loved it. I thought I want more of those. It felt like if you watch like NFL on Fox on Sundays and they have like the sit down with like the quarterback, it was really cool to see like Cole mix it up and great. Like that was fun. So overall, like these shows are killing it. Like, and I think we've all said it probably 17 different ways on all different shows that we do. But like, did we expect any craziness at Bash and Berlin? No, but we knew these matches were absolutely going to rule, and that's why we watch ultimately is for good matches.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was happy with it.
And I liked at the end of the match too. They had the sign of respect where Gunther waited and shook Randy Orton's hand. That was pretty cool. I think if it's not in Germany and Austria, Gunther does not do that. I think because of where they were.
And I think Randy RKO's him if it's anywhere else.
Probably. I think they don't even. I think they don't even do the spot, or if they do the spot and it's anywhere else, you're probably right, Pluggo. Orton shakes his hand and then drops him again or something. But where it was after that type of match, for how long those guys went, I thought that was a nice little thing that they did at the end. And then Gunther cut a promo. Yeah, and then Gunther cut a promo in German for the crowd, basically thanking them and saying it was an honor for him to wrestle there in front of everybody, and everyone went home happy. And it was just a good show in general. Like for me on the East Coast, I can watch afternoon wrestling anytime you want, guys.
I agree.
Anytime you want. You want to do these 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock shows? God bless you. Do them all the time. I'm good with it. I love me some afternoon wrestling.
I don't watch football, so I'm not used to like the whole Sunday afternoon football thing. It's nice. Just give this to me have WrestleMania. No. I don't care if it's in the US. Have it start at 1 p.m. on a Sunday or Saturday. It would be they're starting it at 7 p.m. like Bad Blood here in the States. I think starts at 6 now, actually.
Yeah, because of UFC, right?
UFC
learned that last night.
So they're trying not to.
And that's at least on a Saturday night, 6 p.m. whatever. But I like the afternoon stuff. It's a nice vibe. It's over. It's a 3-hour show. I love the AEW shows, but they end at like midnight. East Coast time, it's tough. It is tough.
I never understood why I get the Sunday night at 8 p.m. thing, but like, especially with the WWE.
It's for the West Coast.
Now that they're on Peacock, but it's like, get all that West Coast stuff, but it's like, I bet they love getting up and having breakfast and watching. For like me, for being at South Bend, like when Notre Dame goes to Ireland, it's like really cool to wake up at 9 a.m. and watch the game. And be like, "Oh, I'm done for the day." So I think a little breakfast in wrestling is perfect for our West Coast friends.
We got blessed. We had 2 weeks in a row. We had All In. We had All In 2 Sunday afternoons ago, and then we had Bash the very next day. It's like
It also works out where you could just say, "Hey, honey, listen, I only from 1 to 4 today. I'm busy,and then after that, it's all about you."
It's not, hey, what are we doing?
Opposed to like, sorry, Saturday night.
Sorry, guy. Off limits.
Especially when they do that. Especially when they do that shit on holiday weekends. You're like, 4th of July weekend, and you're over here like at 8 o'clock. Come on, I want to be outside.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So come on. Move them all up. Let's go.
I agree.
Well, the very next night, Sunday evening, from Denver, Colorado, We also had an NXT PLE, another excellent PLE from NXT. They are on fire here. I thought Money in the Bank weekend in Toronto, which I was there, I thought Heat Wave outperformed Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it did.
I think I would accept, and I would even maybe be on the side. I thought NXT outperformed the main roster again this past week. I thought both shows were great, so I'm not sitting here complaining about one or the other. But I thought when you look at the totality of show, I mean, NXT is getting to that point
JPJ
now.
shoots hard on Bash It Berlin.
I think
the
NXT,
minor league system's much better.
I think NXT is getting back to the point where, at least on a PLE basis, pay-per-view basis, they're pushing the main roster again. They're pushing the main roster. It used to be they went on Saturdays and the main roster was on Sundays. It's a little reversed now, but NXT has been crushing it. And they had a really, really good show in NXT No Mercy. 6 matches.
Was over by 9:45.
Beauty. Beauty.
Love that.
Love
6
that
matches. Look at we're all
I'm old. I'm old,
look
man.
I'm
old.
We're all East Coast people here.
Yeah.
Like
5 a.m. comes early for us, you know.
I'm used to it because it's what we've been doing our whole lives and watching not only wrestling, but any prime time type thing. We're always the ones that suffer the most.
Yeah.
Because we're on the East Coast. But yeah, man, I'm at a point now with just, you know, the earlier you want to end these shows, the earlier you want to start these shows, just do it.
Seriously, less is more.
Just do it.
Yeah.
But this show started off hot. It started off with a tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Champions. We saw a couple weeks ago. These 4 had an equally as good tag team match on regular NXT television. But we saw Axiom and Nathan Frazier regain their NXT Tag Team Championships by defeating Andre Chase and Ridge Holland. Something happened after this match as well, which we'll talk about. But I thought all in all, what a perfect way to start this show. I mean, these 4, Axiom and Nathan Frazier are, man, I mean, they are as good as a tag team in the world.
Yeah,
in the world,
seriously.
when I watch them. Nathan Frazier his speed is insane.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
And Axiom's kind of right there with him too. But like Nathan Frazier in particular is like, man almighty. When he starts running around and doing, I'm just like, how does he
Those
move
blurs are real.
that fast? It is incredible.
You can tell that he's Rollins' student. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, the influence is there. He's just so good. Axiom's really good too. To your point, I think they might be the team of the year. And I think both major companies have had great teams. FTR is obviously incredible. The Bucks have had a long run. Not a lot of defenses, but they're a good team, obviously. WWE's a lot of good teams on the main roster. They're kind of neglecting the divisions right now. But the team of the year for me might be Fraxium. I mean, for all the times we thought they would break up, they're still together, 2-time tag team champs, and have killed it every single match they've had. Really, really good way to start the show. And a surprising result, too. We talk about predictability at Bash. This was more shocking than, honestly, anything I saw all weekend. And, the Ridge Holland heel turn we kind of saw coming at some point. Didn't know it would happen then. But yeah, just a very good way to start the show. And the crowd was into each and every match these two teams have had in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
I dug the match. Super good match. Fun match.
Finally,
what I would have done if you were going to do this and you were going to give the belts to Chase U, make it a big deal. I've come around on Chase U. I'm one of those that thought this ain't going to work outside of this
dumb gimmick. Yeah.
but it's working. I would have had them retain and you could do something where Ridge still turns on Chase, maybe fractions up the Chase U. They freebird it where it's like Ridge is like, nope, I'm taking it, just something a little different because it was like, oh man, like you gave it to him. Ridge had to turn one defense into this thing.
Yeah.
That was two defenses. I know.
On Tuesday. He was like,
but they could have won.
Well, he was like, I was the one who helped you guys win. I was the one you guys, the reason that you guys are champions in the first place. And now you're not champions because whenever it matters most, you lose it soon. Like their first run was also like,
but then he could have kept the title and said all that. But I'm keeping.
I mean, I get,
and I'm taking Duke Hudson with me,
dude. I originally thought that he was going to turn on them in the match they had a couple weeks ago, because the first time they challenged him, it was Duke and Andre Chase. And then it became Ridge and Andre Chase when they actually won the belts. And I was going into that going, I think Fraxium's keeping it because I think Ridge is going to turn on them or walk out or do whatever, and they were going to lose. But Ridge, like he said on Tuesday, was the reason they won that match.
He's not necessarily. He's not really wrong. You guys are losers. I helped you win, and then you lost because I wasn't pinned. Andre Chase was. You guys are fucking bums. I'm ditching you. So honestly, you know what? I kind of get it. I kind of understand why he turned on him.
Yeah,
so
Rich Holland, big baby face.
He's just not wrong. He's really not.
He's
wrong.
not. But I feel like if you're gonna do the Chase U University sports thing, keep the championship, or hey, be like, listen, I'm bouncing. You guys are gonna lose your next defense anyway. I'm gonna kick your ass on the way out.
Yeah,
just a way to like. I don't know. It was just like, all right, we're getting Brett Fraser and Axiom. We knew it was coming, but it was an awesome match. They have really good chemistry, those two teams. Like, it's super fun. So
yeah. And I'll tell you what.
I digress.
I'll tell you what. Andre Chase, man, that guy can go.
Yeah,
in a sweater and a button,
and a sweater and pants, man. That guy is wrestling. But like I kind of like cornier gimmicks sometimes, so I kind of always was like chuckling and into the gimmick a little bit. But seeing him have these type of matches, I had no idea that he was that type of wrestler.
I was actually thinking later this
guy
week
in the ring.
What if what are they going to do with him when they leave, if he ever leaves the Chase U gimmick in like 15 years? Is he going to be like the old ball coach Nick Saban still? Because I'm like, the dude can wrestle really well. Does he have to have the corny gimmick too? It works for now.
Yeah.
But he's just, he's 52-year-old. He's still chasing that title.
He's making it work. The gimmick it's just one of those NXT gimmicks, man, that it just, the crowd gets a hold of it and they love it, and it never... It's always going to be over, dude. It's always going to be over because that NXT crowd is like, this is
they've
our
been doing
thing,
it for 3 years now.
It's been 3 years since they've been.
That's
what I'm saying. What's he going to do?
They get 50? Now are as loud as they've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Is he Lou Holtz? What's he doing?
But I don't know. But they've added members throughout the time. Thea Hale is excellent.
She's improved a lot. Yeah.
They added Duke in there. Obviously, Ridge is gone now, but him. Who's the other fella? Riley Osborne. Yeah. They added him in there too, and it's always kind of worked. And they've had other side characters a little bit too that have
JC was in there for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a gimmick that it's corny as hell, but it's one of those gimmicks that the NXT fans, they just eat it up, man. They just eat it up. Yeah. It was really, really good. Speaking of really, really good, Zachary Wentz and Wesley here. Obviously, there was one spot in the match where Wentz was supposed to clearly be laying down on the table, and Wesley was going to do a top rope move. And the second he leaned on the table literally just collapsed. But I thought they did a good job of making it work around that. This match, we had been waiting and we had been talking about it of, hey, everybody's really into the TNA NXT thing, but TNA is coming over and they're losing all the matches. And this feud was built on Wesley saying, hey, I'm better than you because I'm here and you're there. Yeah, you're a TNA wrestler, but I'm an NXT
So, hey, Wesley, how do you feel now?
Well, exactly. So this was the first story. We've seen Jordan Grace. We've seen Joe Hendry. We've seen the Rascals. We saw Rosemary. We've seen these, and we've seen people go to Ring of Honor too. I'm not Ring of Honor. TNA, not the same level of what we're seeing come to. We're seeing on this coming Tuesday, also, side note, badass, Jordan Grace is defending the Knockouts champion.
Very cool, yeah.
Very cool. Open challenge. That's dope. Joe Hendry being in the main event that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Who's answering the open challenge, boys? Predictions now.
Probably a developmental,
it's going to be someone that loses.
Like an Izzy Dame or something like that?
Yeah, it could be something like that. It could be
She's
something
already
like that.
beaten Izzy Dame. They had that match in TNA a couple of weeks ago, but something like that probably.
Somewhere in that vein, yeah.
Something in that vein. Or something, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they would do any of the girls that are in the new group there, Fatal Influence, because they don't want them to get an L right away, I would think.
Oh, they didn't matter with the Fusion collection. Why would it matter now?
Well, I don't know.
Come on, JPJ. Got to keep it concise.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, though.
Will it be a TNA? Will it be something from TNA?
That would be
that would be cool if they. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Oh, is he frozen? Did we lose?
Did we lose Graham? Or sometimes I think that's me. Is it me? Is it Graham?
No, it's not you. I think we might have
Oh,
lost
it's
Graham.
not me.
He'll pop
Graham, come back when you thaw out.
Are you there, sir?
Are you there? He was about to say, I think it's going to be Marco Stunt, Pluggo. And I'm
Is
like,
that what he was
Graham,
about to say?
I like your style. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. No, if we're going to continue down that path, it would be cool if it was somebody from TNA just to put a really cool banger TNA knockouts match on NXT, which would be a vibe. But if you want to keep it in the NXT realm, it's not going to be Julia, which we'll talk about, or Roxanne because they're busy.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Lash Legend because she's so big. You know what I mean? Like she's got that big.
Lash Legend would be good.
So she towers over, and it's just kind of like you fought Roxanne Perez, this little, pipsqueak, come fight me,
Yeah.
something like that. That'd be
That'd be
cool.
good.
I'm all for it. I don't care. I'm just excited to see Jordan Grace on NXT. She kills it every Thursday night, so why not? She's probably killing it right now, but we're not going to acknowledge that because we're the Thursday night show.
It is true. It is true.
But after this, if you want to go watch TNA, I found out this week that they canceled I had the $1.49 subscription where I could watch all the weekly episodes right after they aired. They stopped doing that, so now I have to find a new way to watch TNA.
Really?
I could get the app, but that's a little bit more expensive, and I don't think you get every pay-per-view included in that $9.99. But I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. TNA's doing okay.
Yeah, TNA's doing good stuff. Dustin is saying, I wonder with this NXT TNA partnership if we'll see any TNA stars and maybe a video game in the future.
Could be like a DLC package. That'd probably make you pay for it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But if you were going to give me like who we've seen, like Jordan Grace, Joe Hendry,
the TNA Invasion pack.
The TNA Invasion people or the TNA pack or whatever. I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, since Graham is not here and Graham is not a football guy, Scott George is TD Derrick Henry. The game has started.
Early. It's 7-7 right now.
Who scored? Chief Scott?
It was. I believe it was the.
It's the Ravens.
Graham just messaged me.
The Ravens and the who? I forgot.
No, the Chiefs, man. What are you talking about?
Chiefs. Yeah. That's right. Defending Super
Bowl champs, man.
Man, it's going to be 3-time Super Bowl champs, man.
You think so?
Oh, Xavier Worthy, the rookie. Nice. I didn't draft him. I should have, but I did not.
Yeah, it was Xavier Worthy.
I went all in on Marvin Harrison Jr.
You went all in on Marvin Harrison Jr.
In my auction league, I spent like $45 on him.
All right, that's fair.
Because let's ride Marvin Harrison Jr. But yeah, NXT, that'd be a fun thing. I think getting some more mix. I want to talk about it. I don't know if we're waiting on Graham if he's coming back.
What are you talking about?
I'm pissed that Joe Henry lost. I'd have done it.
I'd have done it.
I'd have done it. I would have done it. You can do it. He's saying no.
Do it, but it wouldn't have been. I don't think it would have been a right business decision to do.
Who cares? Joe Henry's over.
He is over.
Gotta live. You gotta do something major. You gotta make a major move.
I think personally, right now, Ethan Page is the perfect NXT champion.
It's fair, but he's not Joe Hendry.
I think he is the perfect NXT champion. I thought the way they're doing it was really good. Scott is in the Beards League. We got that starting tonight. It's the first week of the year. When it comes to football, especially fantasy football. Mm-hmm. I try not to judge the first week for anything. Like I go in there going, my team could go off for 200 points or I could score 11 points.
I'll probably score 11.
It's week one, whatever. Like the people that come out sometimes and they're like, I'm 1-0. I'm like, I don't give a shit. You 1-0? Whoop-de-doo. Tell me what you do 9 weeks from now, what your record is. I don't care about 1-0. But it's just, yeah. I just wish it wasn't two teams I despise that were playing tonight.
You need to be more like me and just have teams that you just
no, I affiliate.
You have more teams that you despise than I love.
Yeah, I just love teams from Boston. If you're not from Boston, I don't care about you.
I wore a Flyers hat and you yelled. You're like, you can't wear your Montreal Canadiens shirt. I don't know what I'm allowed to wear on this show.
Yeah, you know why?
I can't wear my Lakers hat.
Yeah, because those are rivals of my teams, and I have integrity, and I root for my teams. So yeah, okay. Lakers, piss off. Yankees, rotten hell.
I got to get a Yankees cap.
I will end the show. That'll be the last week of the show. That'll be the last week of the show.
Noted.
You'll have to pop on. You'll have to pop. Yeah. So if you want to get rid of me,
So
now
if
you know
you're
how
in
to
the
do it.
chat, and you want to drop a pro Yankee super chat, JPJ will be sure to read those.
I will not. We'll read it on the show, but I will not be the one reading it at all.
We're professionals here.
We are, and it will be read on the show
by me.
But you both, me right here, I will not be the one.
I don't know how to read.
Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. Dustin, no. That will start my fire when it's cold out, and I need to throw something into the fireplace to start the fire, to keep warm and roast my chestnuts.
I'm just saying.
That'll be the one.
Got all that hate in your heart.
I have a sheer ranking of my, Yankees 1, Steelers 2, Lakers 3, Canadians probably 4, but they've been irrelevant for like a decade now. So who cares about them? They're bums. They're in the lottery every year.
Affiliate's going to make you a Habs bracelet, and you can't destroy it because we've learned bracelets have intense sentimental value. So you'd have to keep it forever. Ooh, affiliate. That's awesome.
I wouldn't have to.
You should, though. It's the right thing to do. Affiliate is a wonderful person.
She is. She's great. I would appreciate the thought of the gift, but I would give it away.
Oh, who would you give the Habs bracelet that she makes away to?
To somebody
in Boston. There's not anybody in Boston that's like, I want this.
No, that will get run over in the streets.
Oh.
We got him. He's back.
We're talking bracelets again.
Yeah,
My Wi-Fi did not want me talking Zachary Wentz and Wesley and bracelets, apparently, but I am back.
No, apparently. But we yeah. So we were
it'll say JPJ Lou and Habs on it. That's perfect. Affiliate, you're the best.
No.
Everybody clip this out and retweet it so that everybody in the world knows Affiliate is the best.
Can we not?
We can.
Ooh.
Are you saying Affiliate's not? You're shooting hard.
No, Affiliate is the best. I love Affiliate. I just do not want a Montreal Canadiens Habs bracelet because the Canadiens can. First of all, I don't even feel like I have to talk about the Montreal Canadiens because they are as irrelevant of a hockey team in this current state than they're ever had. Like they have been useless for a decade. Do not care. Don't care. So I don't even know why I have.
Now he's shooting hard on Montreal, and
I mean, look, they are the main rival of the Bruins. So yeah, I have a problem with Montreal, but like again, they're not even.
Graham, don't worry. You haven't been on the show in a while. We've upgraded our systems for things like that. So that way you don't get in trouble for things that he says.
Not heat from Montreal.
Look at
the views expressed are by JPJ and his, and not those of anyone else here at Love
That's
Wrestling.
Fair. Just from me in general. There are other teams when the Bruins start the regular season. The Montreal Canadiens are not on the worry list. They're not on the worry list. Again,
my God.
I would not do that. I would not do that. If you know me at all, that would not.
All right, chat, keep it coming. What kind of bracelets can we make JPJ?
Let's get back on track here. Because we were talking about, I do want to hear Graham's thoughts about Zachary Wentz and Wesley, because I thought this was another good match. And I will tell you this, I popped hard for Zachary Wentz's finisher in this match. I did not know that was his finisher, but I was like, oh man, that was cool looking. I was like, that was cool looking.
That was sick.
Yeah, and like the destroyer on the outside before that, and we saw Trey Miguel. We hadn't seen him since the attack when Wesley turned. So seeing him come back and preventing Wesley from using a weapon and kind of being like, no, and then it led into the destroyer, into the move. And we saw TNA get their first win on WWE television since this little business arrangement. And I thought this was the one to do it on, because this was, like I said, the first time that they were leaning into the, hey, I'm an NXT superstar and you're just a TNA wrestler. You're less than me because you work there. So I felt like this was fitting for TNA to get their first big win over a NXT guy when the whole story was you're less than me because you work there. I just thought it made perfect sense. I just thought it made perfect sense. And I thought the match itself was really good. I don't think it's the end. I could see Wesley maybe at like Bound for Glory challenging for that X Division championship from Zach Wentz.
Great idea. That would actually be
that could be a thing.
Yep. Yeah, well, I think Wesley's going to cost them the tag titles on Tuesday's NXT. I think that's going to be. I would love to see them actually win the belts and bring the NXT tag titles between both brands. We just saw the titles change hands. They had a title change right before that, so probably not. That's probably where they're going with it. But I love the match. This was my favorite match of the show. And not only did TNA win, TNA won on a PLE with their guy as the fucking X Division champion. That is crazy. Like, I never thought I would see the day. Crowd reacted positively to it. It was really cool. And I think there are more matches to come. So, yeah, I was fully invested here, and they delivered. I thought this was really, really good stuff.
I agree.
They did it all. It was perfect for me. It was like, this is exactly what you need to do. And it knocked it out of the park. I'm just curious now. We were talking a little before we get off of the TNA. We'll talk more TNA in a second. But is there anybody that hasn't made the jump yet that you guys would want to make the jump?
Probably not a popular option. This might not be my number one option, but I think from the TNA side, we haven't seen anyone from the system, like Moose specifically. I think Moose would be. Well,
that would be good though. That would be good.
Probably in the minority. I think Obafemi and Moose would be fucking sick.
That would be good.
Trying to know who else though.
I would.
I'm just not a system guy.
Oh, Josh Alexander, of course. Speedball,
Josh Alexander, Speedball would be fun.
Alexander,
I would. Go ahead.
I thought we were going to see Alexander in that match on that main event on Sunday. We didn't. I was bummed.
Yeah.
But yeah, North Reunion would be cool for sure.
Yeah. And I think, like, I know it would be hokey to an extent, but I would love to see, like, Dolph Ziggler or Mustafa Ali return as
Ali. Yes,
Ali would be awesome.
He was supposed to challenge for the North American title. Give him the rematch that he never got.
Yes,
Ziggler,
I don't think
Ali.
I'm good.
Ali, I don't think he wants to do it.
No, he probably doesn't.
That was probably a conversation where they're like, "Would you be interested?" And he's like, "If I have to." But the way that because he's still kind of left under the Trips regime too, a little bit, where it's like, they didn't. Yeah, he kind of left on a weird vibe. So I could see them amicably splitting with Dolph.
This would be fun if they did a PCO thing at Halloween.
They should with Steph DeLander coming back.
Yeah, that would be cool. You know who I would love to see, because he just returned at Slammiversary. I would love to see Cardona.
That would be cool.
Matt Cardona
Chelsea
coming back.
Green was on Tuesday's NXT.
Yeah,
he worked something out.
Yeah, Matt Cardona coming back would be a lot of fun.
She knows how to get a hold of him, I think.
I know the Hardy Boys have publicly said they would love to go back just for NXT, like
that would be
have a couple tag matches with the kids, just the Hardys showing up.
Yeah, Fraxium and the Hardys and like the NXT arena would be just fucking crazy.
Like a one-off, like, hey, let's just go do this thing.
Because it's clear, right? That it's work.
Eric Young is another one.
They dipped the toe in to see how we felt about it. We're all about it, and WWE's like, if we got a good thing going, let's keep it going. Whether they go too long or end it just perfectly, so there's got to be some more floodgates coming for this, and I just can't wait to see. I still dig it. I still think it's cool. Like,
I love it.
I know people are like, oh, people will now know who Rosemary is, because it's cool to see different faces show up. Why are you guys mad? People get weird. No sense, you should show you some of the Facebook comments I get when you're like, Rosemary showed up in NXT. That's dope. They're like, oh, she's been wrestling forever. Shut up. Yeah. I know that, but somebody might not, and this is cool. I know NXT's been losing, or TNA's been losing, but this is so much fun. It was just like the same vibe AEW was giving us with all the big returns, but they figured out a way to make it kind of
mutually beneficial. I feel
for sure.
Yeah,
TNA's like, I love all these eyes you're giving us. And
look at TNA had
shows. I
was gonna say TNA just sold out that Emergence show that they had last Friday. Like, this, I'm sure, has some stuff to do with it, and things like that. So, I think it's working out for everybody. I would like to see a little bit more of a balance of quality of talent. Not when I say quality, you know what I mean. Like,
you want to see like Trick show up.
I was going to say,
you're giving us Joe Hendry and your Knockouts champion, and they're sending you Riley. No offense to these people, but they're sending you Riley Osborne and Tatum Paxley.
Like,
Tatum Paxley's a good get, but like Roxanne could show up in TNA.
Exactly. Like, why doesn't Roxanne show up there? Wesley has been over there, but that made sense with the Rascals, so that made sense. But like, Obafemi could show up there. Obafemi and Moose.
I think we talked about it. Is it kind of because they tape 4 shows a month, so they're not doing like, hey, fly out to TNA's show tonight and do the show and come back. They have to kind of strategically plan it. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, they've done
good, but they could. That's what I'm saying. They could do more.
Yeah, they could do more. Yeah. They had Wolfgang in one of their shows at one point.
He main evented. I was like, Wolfgang in the main event of a show. That's crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah. No, I agree. Definitely more of it. I agree.
As we continue along here, we then had the singles match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. It was Kalani Jordan defending and retaining her belt by defeating kind of demon evil Wendy Chu.
Kind of full on demon evil. That scares shit out of me.
Yeah, I love Wendy Chu. I think Wendy Chu, either this version or the old version, to me, like that's a gimmick that I think could actually like work on the main roster too.
Wow,
right?
I do.
I do. I like Wendy Chu a lot. She can go. Nice. I like Wendy Chu.
She can work her. Yeah.
This was probably the match I enjoyed the least on the show. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty solid performance by both of them. There was that one spot where they kind of fell off the corner, and it was kind of a little, little mishap there. But I thought all in all, I think Wendy Chu's a good opponent because this is the first NXT North American Women's Champion. I think they're going to present her as a fighting champion and really establish that new title. And Wendy Chu is one of those people where you're going to get a good match with her. She's going to take care of her opponent. She's going to make her look great. And I think that's what she did. I think it was a solid, they got 13 minutes. It was good time. Kalani got all her stuff in. There were some good segments of the match, but like I went in not thinking Wendy Chu was going to take this belt from Kalani Jordan. And I thought for what it was, I thought it was pretty solid kind of in the middle of this show.
Yeah, I would agree. It was an okay match. I think it's the perfect matchup too, because Jordan is so inexperienced. I mean, she's been around for 2 years now and she's improved a lot, but she still should be working with more experienced women. Although the Sol Ruka match, I think I enjoyed more, and she has less experience, obviously, than Wendy Chu. Decent match, fine win for Jordan. Tatum Paxley comes out afterwards, setting up the thing with them two for Tuesday's NXT. Lyra coming out on Tuesday was cool. So, it accomplished what it needed to do, is what I respected about it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm super interested in the next layer to Kalani Jordan. She's laying the foundation right now for like what she is. I'm just waiting for that next thing where I'm like, then it's going to be off to the races. I think she's going to be in the world title picture before we know it. Once
she gets that experience and like once she figures out what she wants her like once she figures it out, because right now, like Graham said, she's been learning to wrestle for 2 years. She's doing a great job. She's a champion on the show, and she is doing great, and you can see her getting better. But once she figures it out from a psychology standpoint, a character, it's going to be like,
and like, commands the ring where she's the leader of the, it's going to be awesome. She's 100%. Got a bright future. I'm stoked for that.
Yep.
Oh, we have Santino. Santino and Ava do a segment.
Dustin said have Santino and Ava do a segment where they're playing a match.
Oh my God, Dustin! Yeah,
that'd be fun.
That's a great shout.
Yeah, and then I would have Ariana Grace pop in there. That's kind of like a little funny. Isn't that's his daughter? Right?
I read Ava. I was thinking Ariana. But yes, that's his actual daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. Ariana is. So if you were doing a segment like that with both of them, and then you had Ariana coming in, like obviously playing a different character, that would be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, we then had the NXT North American Men's Championship was on the line. Exactly. Obafemi.
That's all I gotta say.
Going up against Tony D. There was a kind of scary moment in this match, which to me, I thought Tony D blew his knee out when it first happened, and I was like, oh my God, because I was pumped for this match. I was like, this match is gonna rule, and it still was a good match. But Tony D rolled his ankle like towards the beginning of this match, and you could tell for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and like the next 5 minutes or so in the match, that he was favoring it. He was not at 100%, which kind of put a little bit of the damper on the match. But I think all in all, they still had a pretty solid match here. I would like to see them run it back, which it feels like they might, which I'm cool with. But I mean, who the hell's going to beat Obafemi? Honestly,
nobody.
I don't know. Exactly. I mean, they're continuing the feud, so I don't think it will be Tony. But
Tony is one of the few that I could buy into.
Yeah, because like I don't know what else you even on the subject of Tony. Like I don't even know what else you did with him.
I think they should be on the main roster.
I mean, that's the thing. So if they should be on the main roster, or at least him. I don't know if the other guys are ready, and Ariana Rizzo is newer too.
I would keep the newest guy, Luca. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Luca's
the lawyer.
The guy. I would keep him down in NXT, but I would bring Stacks, and Rizzo right up. That can work. I would bring the three of them up, put them on SmackDown once it goes to USA or whenever you want to do it. And I think
next
that
week
could work.
Actually,
that is true. Yeah,
this
Friday.
Tomorrow night is the thing is what it kind of reminds me of a little bit.
Yeah. I think
you're right though. Like with Tony D, it's like because like he's come a long way. He's come a long way. But they do this thing where they heat him up to be this big deal, then he loses the big match, and you put him at the Oba Femi match, which was a fine match, great match, but it's like we know you're not winning this thing. Like there's nothing you can tell me in the build up to this is gonna make me go, he's got a chance. But I don't know what you do with it from here, and I don't know who the hell they've got locked and loaded right now in NXT that could take out Obafemi. Not that he should lose, but
no,
the dude is just unbelievably talented. He's like 25.
25. 26 years. He looks the part.
He looks like he's been doing this for 15 years.
He's an absolute beast. He's just putting together a good little string of matches defending this title. I don't see him like, we had Najee on last week. We were talking about it, and he was like, I think Obafemi, at least when he's in NXT, he should never lose a belt. He should vacate titles. That's what he should do.
I could see
the hell who's going to beat him? I don't think they have the guy on the roster currently who is going to. I don't know who that is, but I don't think they have it on the roster right now who is going to beat that guy, because that guy looks like he is unstoppable. But I'm glad it seems like they're continuing the feud. What did you think about Obafemi on Tuesday had a little bit of risk. We don't really.
It was interesting.
Did you see this, Pluggo?
The line.
So
they
had a backstage. They had a backstage.
No, I didn't see this. I thought you were talking. I was like, "What are you talking about?" The promo was pretty.
On Tuesday, they had a backstage segment with Oba and the group here. Tony D was off camera at this point, so it was the other three and Obafemi. Rizzo was talking trash to Obafemi, and then he said there was one particular line, but he said, "Oh, such big words from such a small woman." And then he said the line that was kind of floating on social media was, he goes, in some cultures, the woman is meant to be seen, not heard. And then Rizzo started flipping out. Yeah, Rizzo started flipping out, and then Tony D walked into frame, and it became about them two. That's look, it's a heel it's an
move,
asshole,
but
it's an
also
asshole heel being an asshole. All right, like I'm not.
That was weird.
But like we haven't seen that type of pushing the envelope.
And the thing with that too is NXT.
Like that.
All that stuff is buttoned up, and they had to run all that by Sean and all that.
Oh yeah.
It's not like WWE where you got a little bit more creative freedom with like a Seth Rollins or CM Punk where they're like, go do your thing. Yeah. I'm like, see, I don't know. That's an interesting vibe.
It was. And like you could hear the crowd too.
I'll have to watch it back.
It just, I didn't see it live. I saw that line and that clip on social media, and I was like, wow. I was like, it's been a while since we've like had that type of rhetoric in things going on here. But yeah, that was certainly eventful.
I mean, in his culture, maybe that is true. I don't know, but yeah, that's not.
It was a weird thing to bring up. Yeah,
it was, and he did say, and in some cultures, and look at the end, like if you're trying to make him, he's a heel. If he's trying to make him be a dickhead, guess what? He looked like a dickhead.
Like I'm a dickhead, and I can kick your ass. So let's come up with something else you could say.
Oof. Man,
so that's why I think maybe Tony might be the one to beat him, because that was a weird line. Maybe they're going to turn Oba to kind of make people rally behind Tony to be the one to beat him. Otherwise, that was a very weird fucking thing to say.
Yeah,
it isn't Tony D supposed to be this badass mafia dude that could just off a guy? I mean, you're looking a little sus when Hangman's burning houses down.
Yeah,
you're supposed to. Obafemi's supposed to be sleeping with the fishes in your world, and he's kicking your ass. So burn his house down.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna advocate that from now on.
There you go.
You keep losing matches, just burn his house down.
It's fair.
It's fine.
We then had, in my opinion, this was my favorite match of the evening. I'm very bullish on Jada Parker. I love Jada Parker. And I thought this was a breakout performance
Mm-hmm.
for Jada Parker.
Mhm.
It was Roxanne Perez defeating and retaining her NXT Women's Championship. I personally, like I said, this was my favorite. I thought it was the best match of the night. Roxanne is like 23 or even 22, maybe. She's 22 or 23 years old, and she is a ring general in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
And to be that good at that age is insane.
Yeah.
And she is having one of the all-time runs here, in my opinion, as NXT Women's Champion. And I was looking forward to this match. I wanted Jada Parker to win the North American Women's belt in that ladder match at the last PLE. That's who I was rooting for.
Battleground or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, that's who I was rooting for. But this was a star-making performance for me when it came to Jada Parker. I thought these two women killed it. You expect it from Roxanne.
Mm-hmm.
And that, but Jada Parker, I think, lived up to she lived up to being in that match. And I thought the way she was selling her ribs and just the way everything went in that match, I thought this match ruled. I loved it. Obviously, everybody's talking about what happened after, which also very much ruled.
I got thoughts on that, but Graham, you go ahead if you got anything to add about the match.
But I thought this match was really a standout performance by both these ladies. Like really
super good.
Totally agree. No, just a good match. Roxanne, I think at this point, easy to say she can carry a broomstick to a great match. But that's no disrespect to Jada Parker. I mean, she's still relatively new. They brought this up in the build-up to the match, but she's been on TV for less than a year. I mean, she was a background player in a Scripps-led group 4 months ago, 6 months ago, whatever. And she's already the biggest breakout star of the group by far. She's got that just natural, she's decent in the ring. She's got that natural charisma about her, though. Like that promo that she cut walking backstage to the ring, she gets it. Like we were talking before about Kalani Jordan. She kind of lacks that. She needs that natural like confidence in her promos. I see that in Jada Parker. And she's already putting the pieces together in the ring as well, working with Roxanne and Michin and having better and better matches every single time. I think she's going to be a big star as well in that division on the main roster at some point. And it was the right outcome. It wasn't really ever in doubt at all. But I think she really went out there. Jada did and had the performance of her career. And it's been a very short career so far, obviously. But hopefully they can capitalize on that and continue to push her and showcase her on NXT TV.
Yeah. Pluggo, we got someone talking crap.
I know. I had a really good point, but I'll just say this, Brett. I'm hoping that your big moment comes sooner than later, buddy.
That's okay, Pluggo. You can
I love you. Go
and
Raptors.
Let the other two talk.
Go Raptors, right?
I agree with everything you said, Graham. So yeah, Pluggo, what are your thoughts on what we saw?
So this is what I love about professional wrestling to a whole. Like in a lot of sporting events, if you win, you're the MVP. In a lot of ways, Jada Parker looked like the MVP of the match because we expect Roxanne to do what Roxanne did, but that Jada was like, "Here's my moment. I'm gonna live up to it." I thought Lola Vice did it last month. I think we're in this really NXT's in a really interesting spot where it's like Roxanne was one of the last indie signings before the whole, like, we're going to do these NIL deals. And then we had all these characters with NXT 2.0. And we had all these, like, people were like, this is kind of corny. Are these girls going to work out? And you're starting to see the fruits of that labor. And then we're also getting, like we said, Julia showed up.
Yep.
Because we're back to signing international superstars / indie talent that rules. And it's just this really cool mix right now where they have an opportunity to pass that torch to Julia with Roxanne and then have this NIL group of girls, also show out with Julia now. It's just this, they figure it out. And like, as much as we dumped on NXT with that 2.0 thing and all the mandates, we're seeing the Jada Parkers, the Sol Rukas, Fallon Henley's coming around. Like it's happening, man.
It's dope. It's because who was in? Listen, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
But who took more of an in charge role of NXT when it became NXT 2.0? It was the guy that was booking really bad television on the main roster too.
Yeah,
and he's not there anymore. And you got Triple H and Shawn Michaels, who grew up as in the business as best friends together. They probably have very similar minds for the business, but different enough to have two different products but they're in tune with each other. I think from now on, when we see NXT people come up to the main roster, it ain't going to be happenstance. It's going to be
carrying a cross and a mask and a loincloth.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be, hey, what's the plan for this person? Okay, let's bring them up. Let's promote them. Let's make them the next stars of this company.
Yeah. I just love that they've got
to be a fight between Shawn and Triple H like it was with Triple H saying, hey, Vince, don't ruin my guy. Don't ruin my guy. He's this down here. And Vince going, I don't see it.
I don't care. I don't even watch the show.
We're going to make Adam Cole a manager and let him fucking leave the company.
You remember 2.0, like, it was cool from like the first week, and then after that, because you couldn't buy into any of these characters, they figured out a really nice mix. I love like the established talent with this new talent, which is only going to make working with Julia and Roxanne Perez is only going to make the Soul Rupert.
You still have Stephanie.
Stephanie McCord coming.
Delta. You've still got all these people. Motor City Machine Guns are in the mix.
Like
at some
this
point
NXT women's
Lucha
division
Brothers.
Is going to be something.
Maybe Ricky Starks at some point.
Maybe Ricky Starks at some point.
No, I don't want it.
I know. Let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the main event.
I want it, but I don't want it.
I'm not putting the cart ahead of the horse, but I have a fantasy booking thing with Ricky Starks that if it happened, I might pass away. But let's talk about the main event first. Well, I'll ask you, Graham. Obviously, Pluggo just mentioned Julia. How do you think the debut of Julia went at the show? And then obviously we saw Chelsea Green kind of everyone thought Julia was the one coming out. It was Chelsea Green. And then Julia comes out, which if they decide to do Julia versus Chelsea Green on NXT, that's a perfect opponent for Julia's first match, because Chelsea can lose and it does not matter at all.
And she's a main roster talent too.
And she's a main roster talent. She's also very good. So she'll make Julia look as good as, I've never seen a full Julia match. I've seen
and Chelsea Green is also an LPW talent, unlike
that is true.
Barack Arani.
What do you mean?
Who he may be on an LPW show, but is he really the talent?
I mean, he's a former LPW tag team champion.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just spouting what I think I know to be fact. But we had the main event. It was Ethan Page defending against TNA wrestler Joe Hendry with Trick Williams as the special guest referee. I know when you were gone, when your Wi-Fi cut out, Pluggo was like, "We're gonna wait for Graham," but I would have I would have done it. I would have done it, and I would have pulled the trigger and put it on Joe Hendry.
Wow!
And I said, I understand that he's super over. I think that Ethan Page is really like the perfect NXT champion currently now.
Yeah.
I'm all about chaos in my professional wrestling. I'm all about in certain moments, like we talked about it earlier with Zachary Wentz winning, to kind of preface my craziness for people that are maybe listening for the first time or don't know. I just feel like you have to do something like that. Like I was proponent of Jordan Grace beating Roxanne. You got to do it to just buy me in and be
sometimes,
okay. So they did it with Wentz, and I'm like, okay, but I didn't know they were going to go Wentz, and I could pick Joe Hendry, and I was like, this dude's an international star. He wins the thing. Then maybe you just do something where all of NXT tries to take it from her, or even Ethan Page wins it. He doesn't have to keep it for 6 months. It doesn't devalue anything. It just goes, oh shit, that was cool. So I'd have done it. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Oh, look I believe in Joe Hendry as well. I just thought, and kind of afterwards they showed him and Shawn, and he thanked Shawn, and Shawn was like, hey, anytime you want to come back. So it makes me think that maybe might be the end of Joe Hendry for a little bit. We'll see him again, obviously, but I think he might be going,
focusing on the
out of frame here for a little bit.
But
and to be fair, they did just have him lose the TNA championship match that he had a couple. So optically, it might have been a little weird. But
I thought all in all, again, I thought this was another really solid match. I thought Trick Williams as the special guest referee worked here because he really did call it right down the middle. And Ethan Page was trying to annoy him, trying to get under his skin, and Trick was like, nope, not doing it. And then obviously Trick kind of gets involved towards the end, and it kind of inadvertently does that thing in a special, inadvertently helps the guy he doesn't want to win.
Yeah.
But I thought I thought for sure. I love the way Ethan Page played this up. The way he was just kind of sitting there, like right in his face, like kind of, sideways look, smiling at him, just being such a prick.
Yeah.
Actually, tonight, Spencer, JPJ's shooting hard on everybody. It's not me.
That's fair.
Graham is here, so I'm trying to behave.
Yeah,
we have a
I've been good. Look, I've been very passionate tonight, but I've been good. We've all
listen. I will say these two shows. I didn't really have much to go off on with these two shows. They were pretty good. I had some thoughts about some other shows that went on this week, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, you said you had some thoughts about the Julia thing before we even move on.
That is true.
That kind of was the thoughts where it's like Julia is now taking over the mantle of Roxanne. It's cool, like a sandwiched indie between this NIL
you had a
stuff.
hot take coming in or something.
No, I love Julia. I think she's fantastic. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've seen her entire catalog, but anytime I've seen a Julia match, which is probably a handful of times, they're always good. So she's only going to come in and slay. And anybody that thinks otherwise, I don't know what you're watching, but teach their own.
Yeah.
Hey,
here we go. We're bringing it up because he does have the Christmas tree cup. How many Christmas trees are too many? Christmas trees?
Not enough. Christmas trees all
day. Yes!
Christmas mark.
Wow.
Never enough.
Mrs. Plugga, we have another one.
As long as it's not before a certain period. Like if you're doing
careful.
Yeah. That's my guideline.
Between when?
I'm saying
September
I said October 1st, but I'm saying like if we're determine here, my big thing was always after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, respect Thanksgiving.
I respect Thanksgiving, but I've come around to the idea. I don't do it myself. I do wait until after Thanksgiving, but as I've gotten older, I've come around to the idea of it being November 1st. You can't do it before Halloween. That's just fucking ridiculous. It's got to be
here. You should have been here on October 28th.
As much as a fan of Pluggo was of yours about a minute ago,
I'm still
now he's like, well, I have Christmas trees up right now.
Yeah, no. I will say this. Since Spencer brought it up, I have 8 Christmas trees.
8
now.
8. Right now we have 8.
Up currently?
Not up. Well, I will tell you this. She's starting to plant the seeds. Mrs. Pluggo is starting to plant the seeds. No, for putting them up. She was listening to Christmas music the other day.
No,
she bought her peppermint creamer. She's starting to like you stretch before a big match. She's starting to stretch the Christmas muscle, and I have a feeling
the kids just got back.
We're not gonna make it through the weekend. I have a feeling.
Literally, school just started within the last week, man. That is too early.
It's not. Listen. I've said this on more than one show.
Happy wife, happy life.
She is a smoke show of a wife.
It's true.
I'm not. She wants to put Christmas trees up in June. She can put Christmas trees up in June.
You got to put your foot down. You got to put your foot. You can't.
Look at this.
Respectfully, you got to do it respectfully.
Look at this. Look at this. You don't. You listen, Mrs. Pluggo.
Respectfully say, hey, listen, I love you. I love our 8 Christmas trees.
But
wait, November 1st. Why don't we wait till after Halloween?
No,
as a northeastern person, like I'm going.
Yeah,
to Salem
northeast is different too.
Exactly. Halloween just hits different over here in like the Mass, Connecticut, northeast area. Respect Halloween. Respect even September. Wait till this.
Yeah.
You got to make
football is starting right now. Plug.
And guess what? Listen here. I cracked the code. I'll let it out for all of you husbands or partners in the world. Guess what? If she wants to put a Christmas tree up during the big game, let her do that. You get to watch the game. Because guess what? You find a wife like I have that's like you're putting the decorations on wrong. She just does it, and you get to do you. It's beautiful. And I get to see Christmas. I love the Christmas scents. The pine smells still amazing. I don't care.
I love the pumpkin scents more in October.
There is literally nothing Mrs. Pluggo could do outside of cheating on me that I'm like, you just go do whatever you want. I don't care.
Fair. Could she burn your house down?
She could burn my house down, and I'd be like, she's the hottest felon in Indiana.
Fair.
She could absolutely burn our house. I've almost burnt our house down because I accidentally put the wrong setting on the microwave. The first week we lived there.
It happens.
It happens. People make mistakes. People make mistakes. I do think Graham brings up a good point though about the Northeast with Halloween. Salem, Mass is kind of one of the central Halloween. It is the Halloween town. That's
love it.
Literally.
Are you more
like,
Halloween than Christmas then, or are you more Christmas?
No, me personally as a human, I am more. I like. Listen, that this stretch that we get from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas is the best time of year because they're my 3 favorite holidays.
It's like the Rumble to Mania, dude. It's incredible.
That's what we're at, man. We're at the road to WrestleMania and the holiday. That's a great way to put it. That's where we're at.
You're good. Graham's good.
I'm a big holiday guy. All right.
I respect all the holidays. I don't talk about Thanksgiving.
Which holidays is the roadblock? Which holidays is the Great Ball of Fire then? Your Flag Day.
I mean, does that count though?
Arbor Day. I don't know.
Arbor Day.
Does that count? Arbor Day.
Stomping ground.
When you're talking holidays in general, right? There's a ton of holidays, but you're talking Halloween, you're talking Thanksgiving, you're talking Christmas, you're talking New Year's, you're talking 4th of July in America. I know not everybody, obviously. I assume everybody has America, their country day or whatever. But you're talking 4th of July.
We're talking hieroglyphics.
If you're right in the Northeast, a lot of people are religious. Easter is still a big holiday, I think, in the Northeast. I don't know how it is as a general holiday still, but in the Northeast, Easter is still a big deal. And other than that, well, you have the Monday holidays.
Maybe Mrs. Plug goes on Canadian time. I don't know.
In Canada, they do Thanksgiving before Halloween. That's probably the way to do it. To me, that whole stretch, I just respect them all. I don't start thinking about Thanksgiving until Halloween is past. I don't start thinking about Christmas until we've had Thanksgiving.
It's literally like a wrestling show. Like you get a month in between each one. Thanksgiving is like just 3 weeks after Halloween.
Perfectly. Do you realize how hard it is to put up 8 Christmas trees and take them all down in 30 days? You gotta.
That's what I'm saying. I'll give you some time, and I'll say November 1st. From November 1st to December 25th. That's almost 2 months. That's like 2.5 months. I'm not 2.5.
I'll make sure she watches this portion of the show.
It was always a tradition in my household. We did Thanksgiving. We hosted Thanksgiving at my house. And then that next day, Friday, we would go buy our Christmas tree as a family. We would go buy the Christmas tree, and then you would put it up, and then you got to let it rest for a day or so before you can decorate it.
This is my own fault.
So, it is your own fault.
No, because we were sitting in a room before November 1st, and you guys were like, I got up and we were in a meeting and I got up to get something to drink and I had the Zoom with me and you're like, is your Christmas tree up? And I was like, oh boy, is it ever? And 3 years later, we're still every guest we've had on has answered, how many Christmas trees is too many? And what? You have 8?
To be fair,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Depending on the time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I have a problem with that number.
We did a Valentine's Day tree one year where we just left it up through Valentine's Day.
You want to talk about a roadblock?
Valentine's Day. That's where he falls the fire, depending on
Valentine's Day.
I do respect it. However, why does it have to? You can do that any day.
You can do Christmas any day.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Do whatever you want.
No, you can't. You can't have Christmas.
There's no rules. You do whatever you want.
Valentine's Day.
Ted Lasso said, "You just live."
Look it. It's a nice holiday. I always like to take the lady out for a nice dinner. Have a nice, romantic time. I'm not against it, but what you can do that on a Friday.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be on that day?
I agree. That's in any normal day situation.
And again, this is not me being anti-romance bullshit. That's not me. That's not me doing that.
JPJ shoots hard on love.
I like me some romance. Spencer just declared that Valentine's Day is the official favorite holiday of love wrestling. That makes sense. Yeah. I get it. But what I'm saying is I feel like Valentine's Day, you can do that stuff any day if you're you could do
St. Patrick's Day any day if you really wanted to.
You can do the activities that happen on St. Patrick's Day, but you're not going to be celebrating the Irish pride in November.
You could do whatever you want.
Well, there are rules and regulations of how things work.
No, you don't. You could light off fireworks on December 3rd if you wanted.
If you were near me, I would choke you out. If you were near me. It's fucking December.
Happens all the time around here. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It's already bad enough that the 4th of July is at the beginning of the month, and I got to hear people lighting fireworks off for the next 3 weeks after that.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
nonsense.
Listen, I'm just
nonsense.
I could celebrate Christmas 365
limited to the weekend. I agree. Listen,
the worst is when it falls on a Wednesday and people don't know if it's the weekend before or the weekend after, so they just do 14 straight days.
That's too many fireworks.
I'm like, Jesus Christ! I'm trying to sleep.
It's nonsense.
I'm old.
Ridiculous.
It is. It is.
JPJ, are you also now anti-firework?
I am not anti-firework. I do love fire. I do like fireworks, but like I like fireworks when I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to see the fireworks tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going
Not
to
for a
see the
whole
fireworks tonight. Yeah, I don't need it on my street.
Yeah.
2 days later, because first of all, the fireworks you bought at the store, garbage, most likely. Trash fireworks, not the trash.
At like the worst times too. You'd be like trying to sleep and you're
10,
hearing
15 at night when I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck you popping fire? It's Tuesday.
Exactly.
What the hell are you doing?
Celebrating America, dude.
What the hell are you doing?
We're red, white, and blue.
JPJ, yeah, JPJ shoots hard on America too.
I mean, yeah.
The anti-MJF over here.
No. Well.
Whoa!
No. I do think MJF is losing on Saturday, though, so we can start because we are going to run through all out a little bit.
In a row.
Next. Listen. If of all the people in AEW, if MJF lost 2 pay-per-view matches in a row, does it hurt him at all? No, it doesn't.
No.
And does it do wonders for Daniel Garcia to beat MJF on Saturday? A lot of wonders.
For sure.
I think he's losing.
I think MJF should win so Daniel Garcia could win the next one. That's what
okay. Yeah, if you do it that way, I was thinking that he would get the one up, and then MJF would be even more, out for revenge. But
MJF doesn't lose 2 in a row, if ever, not often.
It's fair. It's fair. I thought the segment. Listen, I thought Dynamite last night was a solid show throughout, but I thought the opening segment with MJF and Daniel Garcia and the closing segment with Swerve and Hangman,
Felony. 2
different types of promo segments and what happened. But I thought that those were super strong ways to start and end this show. Daniel Garcia had the promo of his fucking life last night on Dynamite. He was excellent. And MJF is MJF. You're getting top tier with MJF. But that promo segment between the two of them was unreal. And then MJF breaking the bottle over his head and kissing him on the bloody forehead, and he licked his finger. Oh my God. What it was just. And I love the line where because MJF clearly turned heel a little while ago against Ospreay, but we really haven't seen this type of evil, dastardly MJF since he's come back, kind of. He's been a dick. He's been a prick and doing his normal shitting on the crowd and hating on everybody, but he really hasn't been this guy. And I thought in the promo where he says, "Hey, Daniel, I want to thank you for awakening something in me that has been dormant for way too long." And then the blood thing, I was like, "Ooh, all right. This is like really fucking evil real piece of shit, MJF." Loved it. Now, what we saw at the end of the night dwarfed everything. But
of course.
This, when it happened in the moment, I was like, yeah, like this is good shit. Good shit. It ruled.
Do you think MJF is a little pissed that he can't burn Daniel Garcia's house down?
Maybe.
It's already been done.
Got to find something else.
I know. Oh my God. No, that's going to be good, man. MJF and Daniel Garcia is going to be a lot of fun. I just don't see a scenario where MJF loses twice in a row. But again, this would be the spot to do it. I think if you wanted to do that and make it a big deal. Hey, I beat MJF. Like that would be huge for Daniel Garcia for sure. But we'll see.
I think it could happen. I think it won't happen. I do think Garcia loses here. I think he stays. I don't think it's a case of like, he's going to lose because he might leave.
I know that's kind of a thing that's still getting floated out there. Like, we don't know if he's re-signed yet. So if he's...
I wouldn't even factor that into my decision.
I'm trying not to. I don't
think he's going anywhere anyway, but...
Yeah, I don't think so.
He could be successful anywhere he wants to go. Like if he went to NXT, I wouldn't be mad at him. But I'm like, he is such a great future piece and vibe for AEW, especially when he does like the red dragon, not the Red Dragon. What was he going by when he was on the Indies?
Yeah, whatever his nickname was.
Like that, like this, that killer vibe.
Was it Red Death?
Something like that. I don't.
Yeah, what was it? I don't remember.
See,
I think it was.
He hasn't used it in AEW, but I know what you're saying.
No,
it was Red something like that.
It's been a while. I'm getting old. All these fireworks.
I feel yes. Yeah, the 2 bookends for the show were perfect for a go home show before. I fully agree. I think I'm going to stick with my pick, even though I do like Graham's idea of Garcia getting close and then he doesn't. Then you kind of pay that off in a bigger sense down the road. But I'm going to stick with my gut. Again, I just feel like MJF can lose another match and it doesn't hurt MJF at all. But Garcia getting that win is like, oh my God, that's a huge staple victory for Daniel Garcia. But I expect that one to be one of the standouts of that show.
Yeah, Red Death, dude, you were right.
Was it Red Death?
Yeah,
you said that. It just didn't sound right the first time. I'm thinking,
it's been so long since he's used it, but I just love him in AEW in the sense that, I just think he fits the vibe there, but he'll be successful anywhere. I'm just bummed.
Yeah, he can always 100%. Go to WWE down the road too. I mean, the guy's only 25, 26.
Yeah, he's one of those super. Yeah, he was when they signed him, he was 21. He
could sign a 5-year deal and then go into WWE after that. And he'll be totally fine.
True. I think that's we talked about that with MJF. It's give this AEW thing one more shot, get the money out of him, and you're still 29, 30.
Yeah, exactly. He signs a 5-year. Yeah, you're 30, 31 when that's up. You're still not even in the prime of your wrestling age for most people. You know what I mean? We do have a couple. So we have Okada will be defending the Continental Championship in a 4-way, but we do not currently know his opponents yet. We'll find that out on Collision, which is on Friday, going against SmackDown. Those matches are Orange Cassidy versus Brian Keith, Lance Archer versus Mark Briscoe, and Konosuke Takeshita versus Beast Mortos. We saw last night, first of all, Okada and Kyle Fletcher.
Very good match.
Incredible. Very good.
Yeah, very good stuff. Kyle Fletcher's great.
Oh, my God, dude. And we talked about it more in depth last night, but you want to talk about a guy that was given an opportunity.
Let's be honest. We talked about how hot he was last night.
Listen, he's an attractive fella. Listen, but you want to talk about a happenstance where how many times have we seen in just pro wrestling in general, your tag team partner gets injured and you're nowhere to be found. You're on the bench until he comes back, or AEW is a little bit. And again, we're seeing it WWE. Look at Pete Dunne right now. We're seeing it better on both, right? Yep. Triple H, I almost called him Hunter there, but Triple H, he couldn't wait. Obviously nobody wants anybody to get hurt, but he had an opportunity to do a singles push with Pete Dunne, and he did not hesitate. It was the day of. They were Bates going to be out for a while. Pete Dunne immediately in a story.
Why not? He's so good.
Oh, he's incredible. And we've seen AEW do it with Dante Martin when Darius was out, and Ray Phoenix when Penta was out, and vice versa. So we've seen AEW do it, but man, to be given the opportunity of hey man, your guy's out here, but we're going to do you in some singles matches, and to just the level of quality of everything we're seeing from Kyle Fletcher. I know Aussie Open is this really, really good and well loved. I don't even think about putting that guy back in a tag team ever again.
Nah.
That guy to me is he is top of the card echelon, getting there, singles star.
Yeah, he's beyond that now.
Incredible. Yeah. Incredible. Spencer is saying tomorrow night, SmackDown is in Edmonton. It's in the Love Wrestling Spencer's neck of the woods, and then on Monday they're in Calgary. So we're going to get some
Miz Force comes back.
Some rowdy Canadian crowds here on the shows. Which
you remember the Miz Force, Graham?
Miz Force. I remember Miz.
Now the last time they were in Edmonton, he was trying to keep Dexter Loomis away.
Yeah, Dexter Loomis was stalking him there,
and they
had the Miz Force.
Wow.
Which was LPW, Michael Richard Blaze, Jack Pride, and oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
Stephen Crow.
Yeah. So we had some LPW individuals doing
super
stuff
cool. I was sitting at home. I was like, oh shit. Fun. But
so we don't know the 4 opponents. Obviously, what we saw after that Kyle Fletcher match last night was Takeshita kind of getting in the kind of staring him down, which. My hopes is that I think Okada wins no matter who the other 3 individuals are here on Saturday.
I agree.
I think that's happening, but if we can get to a one-on-one between Okada and Takeshita for a Wrestle Dream or whenever you want to do that, that is my hope, because give me that match.
Sign me the fuck up, yeah.
Amazing. The only thing I want, if it's not Okada on Saturday, is it's Takeshita. That's it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only acceptable, okay, hell yeah, we're going to do something Takeshita now.
Yeah. We saw another match kind of put together last night as well. It'll be for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It'll be the Young Bucks defending against the Blackpool Combat Club, which are currently 2/3 of the Trios Championships champions, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Like I said last night, this match will be good. All 4 of these guys are very good professional wrestlers, but there is no way in hell the Young Bucks are losing that match. It's just not happening. And when I asked the gang that were with us last night, so we got Pluggo and Mai's opinion. I'll ask yours. It's a 2-week build, and we had some people on screen that were like, because it's a 2-week build, I'm cool with it. How do you feel about so many champions going after secondary titles on the show? Because there's like 4 matches that have already champions in the company going after belts to become 2-time champions. How do you feel about that just in general?
I don't love it personally. I mean, with this match, it's just lazy because there's no story there. The only story is that Danielson's facing a fellow elite member in Perry. But again, it's a 2-week build. So I will say this, though, to AEW's credit, they have done a much better job this year of setting up matches for this show compared to last year, where there was 1-week build and nothing made any fucking sense. Yeah. At least half of the card this year, there's a lot of matches that have storyline significance from before All In or are rematches from All In or whatever, or continuations of certain feuds. This one, I'm just looking forward to it because it's a good match. There's literally no reason for this to happen at all. But you know what? I can't complain because the Bucks did not defend those belts for like 4 months. So now we've gotten like 2 or 3 defenses in a 3-week period. That's a positive step in the right direction. So the whole going for other belts thing, it's weird. I mean, on a company that has like 200 people on their fucking roster.
That's what I was going to say.
They have enough people that they could find fresh challengers. I mean, Claudio and Yuta do not need to be going for the tag titles, so they are not going to win.
It either shows you don't trust your roster enough to use them, or you don't know how to book, because that's what I'm like.
They need more teams or just a deeper division. I don't know.
Well, we talked about that a couple weeks when they ran back FTR and got them into the Acclaim thing. They used to be a strong point. Now they're sitting there like, we're just running things back. And Claudio and Pac just got these trios belts. When's the last time I saw a trios title defense? Was all with the House of Black thing, kind of the ladder match. But they kind of threw that. Yeah, they kind of threw that together. It's like, give me some fresh matchups. Use some. Where's Private Party? I think Mark Quinton's probably hurt again. Is he?
No, I don't think.
No, they just did the Jericho thing and shelved them.
You just gave Top Flight, and I know they've
Top the Flight's out before, there.
But you just give Top Flight this new kind of look with the pilot stuff they're doing, and you can't throw them in. I don't know. The Young Bucks could have and that's what this is. But the Young Bucks could have a one-off and retain the titles against anybody. Like, why does it have to be? And I get it. Pac, who is the third of the trios champions. With Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. We already knew he was going after the international championship before All In. We knew it was happening at All Out. So if you know that, why the fuck did you have them win the trios belts in the 4-way to begin with? You had to do it for the hometown. And look, I love Pac. I was happy that he got the home. No, you had House of Black and you had established teams in there that if you knew you were doing this, even with a 2-week notice, why? Because you could have the trios titles being defended tonight or defended on Saturday by the House of Black or the Patriarchy or whoever. It's just like, if you know what you just.
Because here's if we want to go even further real quick.
Jack Perry.
Jack Perry doesn't need to lose.
You're gonna have your TNT champion. You're gonna have your trios champions and your TNT champion all lose. Champions are all gonna lose.
And Jack Perry's at a critical spot right now where they're there. Just keep it going. And so you can't beat Danielson. Okay, something's got to happen there. Something's got to happen. I feel
like there's gonna be a lot of bullshit that happens.
Some shenanigans, but Daniel, we couldn't do something with Danielson separate. I don't know.
I don't know. It's very odd because to me it's just kind of like.
But the pay-per-view matches are going to absolutely.
Yeah, and the pay-per-views always are great.
we did this with the last pay-per-view where it's like they took some really weird ways to get here, but we know it's going to turn out really well.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't like the acclaimed FTR Bucks. It took some really weird turns to get there, but the match ruled. Like that's why I just want to make a little sense. Give me some more fresh faces. We don't need to keep intermingling because that's one of the biggest contractors. Like, oh, AEW's too many titles. It's confusing. It doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying you have to cater to those people, but it is even for me. I'm like, why are these matches happening? And I watch your product every week.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
All right, we just referenced it. It is Will Ospreay defending the AEW International Championship against Pac. I've really liked what they've done with Pac the last couple of weeks on Dynamite. That Poison Rana spot was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually liked what happened last night as well when he did the brain buster. And I like how he's like, I warned you. I like how he calls him William. I warned you, William. He's using his full name and stuff like that. I think they've done a good job. But again, this is another, and this card has a handful of them. This is another match where, to me, Will Ospreay's not losing this match. Now, is this match going to be? I think this match is a perfect opening match for the show.
But what if he did?
But he's not gonna. It's just, But this match itself is going to be incredible because these two are two of the best wrestlers in the world, and it's gonna rule. But there's, We're
not gonna have this problem next year when All In is in July.
They did themselves a favor by spreading out the
Forbidden Door is in the All In spot next year, though. It's still at the end of August.
Oh, is it? I thought they.
But I think they're going to move All Out to the end of September.
They have to.
But then they got to move Wrestle Dream too.
A month. Well, they moved back Wrestle Dream. I
have to imagine Texas Stadium probably because MLB season's going on and they might have not had a spot available around that August time.
Because the first Monday of September is always Labor Day, and All Out originally it was Labor Day weekend. That's when they wanted to do it. But guess what? Now you have 10 or 11 or even 12 pay-per-views instead of 4. So guess what? You don't do Labor Day anymore unless you want to make that your August pay-per-view.
Yeah.
If you want to make that your August pay-per-view, even though it's the first weekend of September, do that. But that counts as you're just putting yourself into.
They did it.
They separated it this year by 1 week to give them the extra buffer. Fine, but next year you can already tell they're like, okay, we got to spread this shit out. We got to correct here. You have to.
I know that it's too little. I know this is maybe like a stretch, and you don't want to not have a Will Ospreay on your card if you can't, But he did just win. Maybe we give him this one off and give us something different. But again, that would be tough because then you're not going to have Danielson. You wouldn't have Ospreay, and you're trying to sell tickets. I get it. It's a weird complaint for us to have, but it's just like it does kind of make us go, Pac, this match would be awesome. Give Pac and Ospreay the MJF Ospreay build up or half that, and we'd be like, holy shit. Instead, we're like, oh, it's good, but he's going to lose, but the match is going to be good. But it's like, I just like the idea of having doubt.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, it's almost an embarrassment of riches with the roster that they have, that they're giving away Ospreay and Pac on such short notice. That means that they have even bigger matches in play with Ospreay. I mean, that being Ricochet, if they were giving that on 2 weeks' notice, I'd be like, the fuck are they doing? Like, this
Where's
is
Ricochet, man? He showed
at
up all
least
in
with
the
this.
disc.
Yeah, it's not even on the show. Maybe they'll give. No,
he had the debut on the Dynamite, and that's when the point because Ospreay came out to challenge him, and they're doing this. So I would think that's probably Ospreay's Wrestle Dream match is him and Ricochet. Like that makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Give him 3-4 weeks to build to that. Totally get it. I think there's just Ospreay's still so new. There's still so many people he can face. Him and Pac should have a longer build, but it's a match where I feel like it sells itself, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like even Perry and Danielson, which we'll talk about. I'm fine with having a 2-week build. I don't need to see a month-long build for that.
Yeah.
There are certain matches they can kind of rush into, and it's okay. But I think the general consensus is no more 2-week builds. It's done when WWE does it. It's done when AEW does it. The 1 week was ridiculous. 2 weeks is better.
Yeah.
Next week, that should not be a thing, though. Or next year.
I agree. So we do have a Chicago street fight happening. It is Willow Nightingale going up against Chris Statlander. Now, when this was first announced, it was for the CMLL Women's Championship.
Yeah.
I think we're still a little bit up in the air because they announced it, and then within a few days after that, the report came out that CMLL was like, we don't want that belt being defended in that type of match. It's too
so
hardcore
weird.
of a match, which I don't understand. Again, I don't watch CMLL regularly. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So right now it is not listed as a title match.
Yeah.
But I have no legitimate sources, but I've reached out to a few people that might, and they said that what they've heard is that they're still trying to make this for the title.
Interesting.
But they don't
Chris
know if they're going to be
able to.
Eliminator
match. Like, what was the point of having her win an Eliminator match?
I don't know, because I think AEW just kind of did what they were like, oh, all right, we're going to do this. And then clearly there was a miscommunication.
Yeah,
Nobody,
clearly,
and CMLL was like, no, we don't care if you have our title and defend it on the show, but we're not doing it in that type of match. You should have probably talked to us.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, you're muted, Pluggo.
That's weird. Can we blame JBL? Just because
JBL making the independent wrestling run.
Just going. Yeah, we don't wrestle like that, brother.
Taking out Effie.
Yeah.
Is that what's going to happen now? Because didn't Jeff Jarrett took out Effie last year? Is like all the old school wrestlers just going to show up and beat the crap out of Effie?
All the Attitude Era guys, all like the mid-carders from the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
We talked about that on Saturday on For Exposure, and I can't remember some of the names like we were throwing out there, but it was like Orlando Jordan.
Orlando, get them all back. Remember him?
The Basham brothers coming back.
That was always it. The Basham brothers are going to show up and take out Effie. Yeah. Oh man, that whole like 2005 sweet spot.
Just like SmackDown specifically.
Oh, Chris Masters, the Masters lock.
Yeah, I like Chris Masters. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Would it change your opinion of who you think is going to win this match if it's title or non-title? Does that change your opinion at all?
To me, no, because I think Willow's going to win either way.
Okay.
Because I feel like Statlander won the last one. Willow won the first one. I mean, they had a match at World's End last year. I think Willow won that too. But I think she's going to win regardless. So now I'm going Willow either way.
Okay.
I just think if it's non-title and you got the street fight aspect, Stokely could sway it. You could give it to Stat.
Yeah. I thought that they were going to win the mixed tag.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I thought that Stokely and
too,
Statlander were going to win the mixed tag. So when they didn't, I was like, oh, maybe they'll give Statlander the belt here, but now it might not even be. I think if it's, I was leaning the opposite from you, Graham. I was leaning Statlander either way.
Oh,
okay. Just because I do think Stokely getting involved and kind of they're winning it shittily. You know what I mean? And then, I don't think it changes, but I mean, I'm hoping it's for the title, but either way, a street fight between those two ladies. Because I think Willow is the first woman since Bull Nakano to have won a championship in Japan, Mexico, and America.
That's awesome.
I think she's the first women's wrestler since Bull Nakano to complete that feat there.
That's awesome.
Really, really cool.
Would Stephanie Vakir be another one if she ends up winning a title in like NXT or something? Because she was the strong women's champion. She was the CMLL women's champion. So
she probably would. Yeah, she probably would. Yeah.
I don't know if she won that belt physically in Japan, so I'm not sure. But so
it's a pretty cool thing when you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We only got a few more matches to run through here. So all right, what we got, we have the singles match for the AEW TBS Championship, which we found out last night from Christopher Daniels that Camille will be barred from ringside. Gone. It'll be one-on-one. It is Mercedes Moné defending against Hikaru Shida. I thought Shida had a good promo last night on Dynamite as well. I liked it a lot. This match is going to hump. The match they had a couple weeks ago was unreal. This one I expect to be as good, if not a little bit better. But this, like a lot of the other matches, there ain't no way in hell that Mercedes Moné is losing that belt.
No, I don't think so. Mercedes all the way. I think Shida's honestly better and more interesting now than she has been in the 5 years that she's been in that company. She's had a great run, but the progression of her character, her English is a lot better. The theme song entrance is fucking awesome, and she can go out there and have great matches. That's never really been a problem. Obviously, you put her in the ring with women that are as talented as her in Mercedes. That's a recipe for success. Like you said, we saw that a month ago. And I feel like we're going to see the same thing here. Camille not being a ringside doesn't really matter. Mercedes retains regardless, but I'm looking forward to this, though.
Yeah.
I wonder if Deonna Purrazzo gets involved, and that be the next feud for Mercedes, because they cut that. I was mad about it last night. They did that vignette. They're like, I'm the artist. I'm coming back, and then I'm going to lose to Shida on Friday because Shida can't lose.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
That was a weird move. So maybe there's a reason that they did it. Maybe there's a, she'd already had her shot. And I would love to see Deonna Purrazzo and Mercedes Moné mix it up. Give me that.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's her next challenger because we were trying to figure that out.
Yeah, last night we were
watching
asking,
last night. We're not sure.
We were asked in the chat last night who we thought would be the person that would take that belt off of Mercedes.
Maybe not take it off of her, but I'll take it.
I think we were asked like who would pin her first in AEW, like who would be the first person type of thing. And we were all just kind of like, I don't know. We don't know. Like, are they on the roster yet? Are they built enough on the roster yet? I don't know. I personally think it could be Willow.
I would
the
like
redemption arc to get Willow get that belt back, and then Mercedes can kind of level up a little bit to the world title picture. I do think Mercedes has to leave as well some point later this year or early next year to film The Mandalorian again.
Oh, okay.
So if that is happening, that's a perfect opportunity to have whoever take that TBS title. It could be Camille. Could do that thing too, where the protege. The protege.
My worry is that
goes,
it might be Britt Baker. I think they might go back then. Britt might be the one to beat her.
Before the match at all. But before the match at All In, I would have been more on board with that. That was the match I was looking forward to the most at All In, and it was just a clunker, and I don't think it was Mercedes' fault. It was a clunker. It was disheartening. But again, don't know all the details. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to sit here and say things. It could be an injury. She's kind of been removed from a lot of plans and the website. So like it could again. But that match was very disappointing.
Are you saying Britt Baker's NXT bound, JPJ? Are you shooting?
I'm not saying anything like that. I in the moment when that match was happening, I was upset because I knew that there were going to be people that were coming out and they would say the dumb stuff that I saw where it was, oh, Mercedes isn't worth the money. They shouldn't have paid her. She's overrated. And I'm just like, if you watch that match,
hanging out on my Facebook page.
Yeah, if you watch that match with your eyes, Mercedes was the only reason that was even passable of a match, in my opinion. And it's a shame because I went into that thinking, oh, this is not just a one-off. This is going to be a multi-match feud. Like this is 100%. Like that's what. And then
kind of random.
Yeah, clearly, something's going on. Hopefully, everybody's all right. Things are fine. But yeah. This match should be great. This match should be really great. But I mean, I don't think there's much decision making on who you think's going to win. Which is just the way it goes. And we have another match here for the AEW World's Heavyweight Championship, where it's a very similar thing. We have Bryan Danielson win his first title defense against the TNT champion, another member of the Elite, Scapegoat, Jack Perry. Again, I expect this match to be. I do think there's going to be some chicanery, some bullshit here.
Danielson loses.
Doubt it. Truly doubt it. I truly doubt it.
What percent chance? What percent chance?
0.
There's always a chance.
Maybe
5%. Okay.
Maybe at most.
That's
Graham's willing to go on a little bit of a
high. I would say if there's 0, I would say 1%.
Chaos.
But Bryan Danielson defending against Jack Perry. Again, I expect this match to be very, very good.
Yeah.
I expect it to have some nonsense and, some drama and things of that nature. But, Danielson's not. He just got the thing. He's not losing. He's not losing.
Before Wrestle Dream in Seattle.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I don't know if they'll integrate it here, but we have seen, and he's not on the card. John Moxley's been rocking around. He acknowledged Jack Perry last night on Dynamite.
That was weird. Yeah.
That was super weird, but Jack Perry didn't seem to hate it.
Nope.
You know what I mean? He kind of gave him a look like, okay. So do we see maybe because Mox has been teasing this whole like this ain't your company. He did have ties to Danielson, but they kind of not been doing that either.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Does that maybe come into play at the end of this? If we're talking Danielson's winning, which I think everybody's in agreement, does something like that happen where Mox, do we see somebody show up? Did we see him be like? Because it's not it's not a company anymore. Maybe he just destroys the whole main event as a whole.
I wasn't even thinking you were going down that Moxley road because we do have Christian Cage
We
who
do have
has
Cage
a
as
guaranteed
well. Yeah.
title shot at any point for winning the Casino Gauntlet at All In. And I'm under the impression that
We
is
could do
very
that
much
too.
like a Money in the Bank type thing where it can be whenever. So do we see that? Do we see Danielson and Jack Perry? The Elite gets involved. Danielson's beaten down. Do we see a potential tease of a cash in by Christian? That's another layer to this. Or does he wait and try to just cash it in for an actual match at some point?
Outwork everybody. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
He's cashing that thing in.
There's a lot of ways that this can go. But I think the one thing we can all agree on is Danielson is keeping the AEW World Championship past All Out.
At least, yeah.
It's very clear that he's probably going to Wrestle Dream, and that might be it in Washington, and then he's sailing off the sunset. But, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the match that the outcome I am most kind of in the balance with is what we are expecting to be the main event of this show. It is now an unsanctioned lights out steel cage match, whatever the hell that means. And it is between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Obviously, we talked about it at the beginning a little bit, but the ending segment to AEW Dynamite last night was just a work of art. Hangman, earlier in the day, they announced that Swerve bought his childhood home. Everyone was feeling good.
Felony. It's not a work of art. It's a crime.
No, it was a work of art. He's feeling a certain way. Everyone's feeling all real good in their tummies. We're all like, oh, look at that. That's so sweet. That's great. And then at the end of the show, Hangman does not show up for the contract signing, and we see him. He cuts a very good promo. Like, obviously, everybody is talking about the house being burnt down, as they should. But the things that Hangman was saying in that promo were also really, really top-notch. Like, he's talking about how, look at this dirty house. You guys were blah, blah, blah. Your father probably didn't even love you. He mentions that your father probably didn't even want to have you. He said, you're the reason that your family broke apart and was the way that they were. And you can see him, throwing and I thought Swerve, even though he really didn't say a word, and I thought Prince Nana too, I thought both those guys killed it in the ring with their emotions. And Nana usually, and even in the most serious situations, Nana is usually doing something goofy or funny, and he was not. Like, Nana was as serious as Swerve. And then you have, Hangman sit down and he says, I'm preparing you because I'm going to burn your world to the ground, and I'm preparing you to kiss your AEW championship goodbye if you've never seen it again. I want to prepare you to kiss whatever. And then he goes, and we're going to start by tonight. You're going to get some practice because you're going to kiss goodbye Swerve's house. And then he throws the match down, and
awesome.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Incredible.
Oh, fine. It was awesome, but it's still highly illegal.
It's still criminal, but we're sick. We're wrestling.
It's wrestling.
We want to see the world burn. All right, we're sick people. All right, when people get beat up, we're saying one more time. All right, we're just disgusting individuals. We acknowledge that it was fucking cool.
God, who was it this week that they were chanting one? Was it Ridge? They were like cheering Ridge on to throw Chase one more time.
Onto
and I was like, wait a minute, he's the heel here, and you guys are NXT crowds.
Look at wrestling fans.
I watch.
Most of us are good people, but we're savages.
We're savages.
That's
it's like gladiator days, man. We just want to see these people get destroyed. It's just we're the real heels, honestly.
Yeah,
not Adam Page. We
are. We've driven wrestling to this point where they're like, you got to burn a house down to keep us happy. You can't just have a really technical sound match all the time. You got to burn some shit down too.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, for me, I'm torn about. I don't know.
I'm not. Swerve's winning.
It's fair.
I'm going Hangman.
I'm leaning Hangman too. Wow. I'm leaning Hangman too.
The win doesn't matter. It's unsanctioned, they said. So if I think Swerve loses here, but still faces Danielson at Wrestle Dream, because he could say, listen, you beat me, but it doesn't matter. I still win. You can win a match, but guess what? It doesn't matter, dude. You still can't beat me when it matters. So I think Hangman wins here, but it doesn't count, so it doesn't matter.
So we
But
win.
Swerve can win it. So
That's
that's
what
okay.
you're saying. The fans, we win. We win.
Yeah, exactly. The fans win. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm real torn about it because, you know, Hangman did say in his promo last week when they had the face-to-face, he was like, all the times that you beat me, you needed help. You've never beat me one-on-one, so that could make me think that maybe this is the time where Swerve finally beats him one-on-one, especially with, you know, the dude burning down his childhood home.
Does this match start in the part? This match doesn't even start in the ring. I don't even think they get there.
They got to do something to top themselves, though. You guys brought it up earlier. They got to do something to really
How do you
up the
top
ante here. I don't know what it is, though.
Burn down the his tour bus, maybe his tour.
It's
bus.
Chicago's been burned down to the ground before. Just do it again.
It's true.
All right.
It's
Whoa!
true.
Graham shoots hard on Chicago. He's advocating for burning it down.
But
the third city. It's not the second city anymore. It's the third city.
Yeah, and like
Oh,
that is my main thing where I'm like, look, we've seen these two in a brutal match before, and that went as hard as we have maybe ever seen in the history of wrestling, with Hangman drinking his blood and you know, the way that all that went. Like, how do you top that?
Not legally, I'll tell you that.
I don't know.
And it's like
exploding barbed wire death match. Only they do it right this time.
At that. I would be okay. That's for our buddy Mike from Indeed. That was a great idea that he had out. But they're doing this lights out unsanctioned cage match. It's like, is somebody going to be jumping off the top of that cage through something crazy? Like, I just, you know.
See, and these are these moments where my chaotic side comes out, and I hope they just have a technical set with a bunch of rest holds, because that would be more shocking than whatever they're going to pull off.
And the crowd would also burn the arena to the ground.
Yeah, but I will say this: if Chicago burns to the ground on Saturday, I'll probably be able to smell it and get a lot of that smoke. I'm not too far from Chicago, so
but
I hope that doesn't happen. Because
I like Chicago. It's a nice city.
It's a nice city.
I've always had a great time.
Chicago's always a good time. I would never live there because I'm not, as JPJ learned in Cleveland, I am not a big city kind of guy.
I hate cities.
I'm a Midwestern, just chill at my own pace, do my own thing. And I could not I would just be irritated.
I was that weekend in Cleveland. I was the lead for a lot of it because I was like, all right, we gotta move, we gotta go, let's go.
I'm like, we'll get there when we get there, dude. It's fine.
That's me, man.
We'll get there. I'm like, no,
that's me.
Yeah, I'm like, no, we should have been there 10 minutes ago.
That's the Boston mentality for you, JPJ. That's the city.
It's the worst. It's the Boston mentality, and it's being raised by an Italian mother.
There you go.
If I wasn't there 5 minutes early, I was fucking late. And so that has
I don't like to be late, but I also go
never left me. So like I'm always like, what am I missing? Why aren't we there yet? What's this? This guy's waiting here. Get around him. What are we doing? Blah blah blah. Drive, will you? Like I'm like that guy.
Guard me for life.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was. But that is all out. That's a lot of wrestling we talked about tonight, boys. Graham, thank you for joining us. We have to get you on in a shorter amount of time than it took from the first time till now. I
agree. Listen, that was my fault. I told you when I saw you in December, I got to come back on the show. I'm terrible with like being proactive though with stuff like that, but I appreciate you having me on this week. Perfect timing too, with so much to talk about. And next time I feel like we got to do like a ranking of the holidays or some shit. I'll come.
I'd be down
something
for that.
like that.
The holiday draft.
Yeah, we'll have a holiday draft. We can draft the holidays. I'm sure
Arbor Day's coming in hot.
Yeah, we can do 15 holidays.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Before we get out of here, why don't you let the people know where they can follow you, where they can find you, and what you got coming out, what you have out. Let the people know where they can see your stuff.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, WrestleRant.com's got everything, all the work to do, podcast, articles, videos, everything. Obviously, next Friday, the Killers Game movie is out, starring Batista and Drew. Had a chance to chat with Drew for Bleacher Report. Article's going to be out next week. Video as well, talking all things Punk in the bracelet. Not so much, and this was pre-bracelet being destroyed. But talking about the movie and all that other sort of shit. So you can keep an eye out for that. But I appreciate the time, guys. This is awesome. Always been a fun time. I look forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Pluggo, why don't you do your thing? Let the people know where they can find you and us here at Beards. And we'll get out of here.
Yeah, so you can find me at Pluggo on all social media platforms. Type in Pluggo, you'll see this face. I'm right there. You can find me Saturday morning, 9 a.m. with the Grainmaker podcast himself, Blair Pacheco, doing For Exposure, where we're talking all things independent wrestling there. Every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with this fine gentleman here. And if you want show updates on Between Two Beards on what we got going on, because it's a lot, go to at B2Beards on all social media platforms. And if you're looking to help a guy out, I've been sipping on it all night, straight out of alcohol, go to gobrewing.com, type in the promo code Pluggo, and use my referral code, and you get a little 15% off, and I get a kickback. If you like drinking beer, but you don't like all of the after effects, this is perfect. I will get to go to sleep tonight and wake up refreshed and not hungover, because it's a great alternative for me. There you go.
There it is. You can find me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. He told you where you can find us Thursday nights, 8 p.m.
I also
right
forgot.
Here.
I ruined your spot again.
Yeah, you did. Second week in a row, you ruined my spot.
last night.
Shit.
No, our shit. Last night we did a preview of AEW All Out with Ella J, Jose on the air, and Kimmy. Go check that out right after this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, JPJ Loves Gaming. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Flagship right here Between Two Beards. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. Firmly Love Wrestling with my man Drew Nicholas. We talk WWE on Tuesdays, AEW on Thursdays. That show is kind of popping off a little bit, getting some good support there. So, but you can just follow everybody here at Love Wrestling. We have the brunch gimmick on Sundays. We have For Exposure, like Pluggo talked about, independent wrestling. We have Quizplex once a month, the trivia show where all the super chats we donate to charity. We do Blowing Off Stream. We have all sorts of interviews on all our social media platforms. So give us a follow here at Love Wrestling, and where Graham said you can go follow him and Pluggo and all that fun stuff. So Graham, again, thank you for joining us. Open door policy, my man. You are welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime. And for everybody
you
else,
don't even have to ask. Just say I'm coming on, and we'll be like, all right, done.
Look, when we were I'm going to be honest. When we were leaving Raw, Providence, he had asked me. He was like, "Yo, I got to get on the show. Like, just like let me come on." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, "Let me talk with Pluggo, make sure what we're doing." And immediately, I was like, "We're getting Grandma. That's what we're doing."
He didn't even need to talk to you. He did. We're doing Graham. Okay,
yeah, I didn't even ask Pluggo. I was like, just so you know, this is happening. He's coming on.
I appreciate it, guys.
I'd bump my own mother for you, Graham. I'd be like, Mama Pluggo, get out. Graham's in the house.
Well, tell Mrs. Pluggo about the Christmas tree situation.
I'm going.
Let me know.
I think she's gonna. I'll ask her, but I think she's gonna be just down with the fact that you said have as many as you want.
Sure, okay. She's gonna be a big fan.
She will draw a line in the sand on the whole timing thing, because she doesn't subscribe to that. But I think you're okay, because a lot of people give her shit for having as many as she does, and that usually.
I own like 10 Santa hats. I love it. I love the Christmas shit. All right, I was wearing a Santa hat at Christmas on SmackDown.
Mrs. Pluggo, Graham's coming over for Christmas this year.
There it is.
Bring the holiday cheer, my man. I look forward to it.
I love it. For everybody in the chat, thank you for your participation tonight and your support. We appreciate you all, and you guys know the drill. For Graham, for Pluggo, for myself. Until next time, say hi to Sue. Peace out.
Hey there, Pluggo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to